Saying that we live, we gotta make sure. Always have to make sure. Hopefully, we are not going to have any technical difficulties today. There we go. Hopefully, we don't have any technical difficulties tonight. It's important. I don't know what's going on. I looked into it, and it seems that I have very low internet speed, so I have to, you know, get better internet speed. But as we are here today, we're gonna rock out. We're gonna make sure the camera's right and all of that. We are gonna chop it up like we do always. So, welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to the Hotep History Live show. I'm your host, President Hotep Dubes, reporting live again just to, impart my research, my studies, my knowledge, my wisdom into the Black American or the overall American zeitgeist. You dig what I'm saying? It was an eventful weekend. I hope everybody had a dope weekend. My neighbors had a super duper fireworks show, so I didn't even have to go far. Just literally have to just walk outside, be a part of my community and stuff like that. It was a great weekend. Had an amazing time. And it was respectable too. One of the things, as you guys may or may not know, I lived in Philly for about 10 years. I say 10 years exactly. And every 4th of July, it was absolute mayhem, son. Like, it was crazy. First of all, you're going to hear fireworks and all of that stuff well before the 4th. Well before the 4th. And you're definitely going to hear them on the 4th or whatever. So I would say from June 15th, son, like real talk, for like June 15th to about July, depending on what, like on like the day it falls. If it falls closer to a Sunday or whatever, then by Tuesday, Wednesday, relatively most of the fireworks have been let off and all of that. But if it fell on like a weekend like it did this week, man, forget about it. Forget about it. On a Friday, they ringing them joints off all the way until probably almost the next Friday, for real. And I could tell you that just from experience, like just living on that block, it was fireworks going off in the neighborhood for days and days and days and days. So it was a breath of fresh air for the past couple summers. Now that I've moved out of Philly, to where things end at a respectable hour. They start at a respectable day on a respectable day, and they stop at a respectable hour. Like the fireworks that I had in my neighborhood stopped. I think it stopped. We didn't stay longer than 11 o'clock outside, just out of respect of everybody, in the neighborhood and stuff like that. People who may have, residents or whatever that may be a little bit overwhelmed by the fireworks. So they kept it at a respectable hour. And that's what I appreciate. I genuinely appreciate that. You know what I mean? Like, I appreciate civility. I really do, and I appreciate community when it comes to these types of things. Like I said, I've lived in environments where it was none of that. Like, people are going to do whatever they want for however long they want without any regard for their neighbor. So, like I said, it's a super dope breath of fresh air that we got to experience it in a nice, civil and fun way. Shout out to the chat. Hotep to all of the Hoteps, all my Hoteps. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Shout out Dizza. Shout out Hotep Oz. I appreciate you guys stepping in. Share this. Share the stream. We're going to have a lot of fun tonight. So, without further ado, we can get into the first order of business that I wanted to get into. So over the weekend, being the proud American that I am, let me go to it. I tweeted some very pro-American things, and leading up to this, I remember, some of y'all may remember, I had that tweet about, you can't be pro-American and anti-black. I mean, excuse me, you can't be pro-black American and anti-American. It just didn't make sense. So I had a lot of Pan-Africanists and stuff like that. Hop on my mentions. They was arguing with me a lot. So, come on. And y'all let me know if the stream is coming in, smoothly. So, like I said, this was me on the 3rd. On the night of the 3rd, I was like, yo, listen, this is going to be me tomorrow. Now, I will say this, because I was so entrenched with what I was doing in real life, I didn't tweet as much as I would have during the day on July 4th, but I was just doing a whole bunch of fun stuff, so I wasn't really worried about Twitter. But on the night or the evening of the 4th, so there was things that I tweeted. So I did tweet this. This is the 4th of July picnic in 1874, being celebrated by Black Americans, of course, having a great time. And just so you know, well, we'll get into that in just a second, but just so you know, Black Americans have always shown their American pride. It wasn't until the latter half of the 20th century where Black American patriotism was openly frowned upon. You had a lot of revolutionary groups speaking out against any type of loyalty to the United States. Definitely, according to what was going on at the time as well. But yeah, so through a lot of the ideologies of the Black Power movement, a lot of the patriotism went away. So people like me, people like Florida's favorite conservative teacher, who was definitely, you should give her a follow. She's one of my favorite follows. She gave us some July 4th Black American history. She says, did you know Booker T. Washington officially opened Tuskegee Institute, now Tuskegee University, on July 4th, 1881? The date was symbolic. Opening the school on Independence Day emphasized themes of freedom, self-reliance, and progress for Black Americans in the post-Reconstruction South. Washington believed deeply in education as a path to uplift and independence. And the choice of July 4th reinforced that vision. And that's absolutely correct. And this is what I was talking about. Our ancestors were absolutely proud Americans. Please do not let anybody lie to you. Now, when it comes to, like I said, the ancestors from the, late 60s, like I said, a lot of the revolutionary groups, if you come from a lineage of those revolutionaries, I wouldn't expect for you to be as patriotic. But also keep in mind that those groups of people were not as numbered as the whole of Black America or the majority of Black America that was actually proud to be American. So, I said a little funny stuff or whatever. And so I said, Black Americans have the right to be the most patriotic by default. Fought valiantly in every war, contributed to every facet of American advancement since the colonial era while being opposed by our government. Too much has been achieved to ever be anything but a patriot. And this is something that a lot of people take the opposite stance on. Is because of what you went through, you shouldn't feel like an American. Because of the governmental oppression, due to the social and economic racism, all of these different things that Black Americans historically have went through: slavery, black codes, Jim Crow, all of these different things. Those should be the reasons why you're not a proud American. And I take the complete opposite stance. It's not like our ancestors fought to leave the United States. Even when that first movement, the recolonization movement and all that other stuff that wasn't very popular among Black Americans. So you had some who left. I mean, Liberia is a place for a reason. You had some people who left, but most Black Americans felt American, they believed in America. That's what they always believed for the most part. So when it comes down to, fighting to be recognized as a full-fledged American citizen, fighting for all of these different freedoms and rights that we have today. It would be insane to think that they did all of that to fight to not be a part of America. Like, it just doesn't make any sense. They had the opportunity to go to Africa if they wanted to, and they openly, vehemently said, no, we don't want to go. And only a small amount of people actually left. Even when they started talking to me about the black loyalists, right? That there were more black loyalists or black people who fought for the crown versus the United States, or excuse me, versus America at this time, before it became the United States and the colonies. And it's like, for sure, like, that's totally fine. But it's like, when it comes down to America, though, I'm going to be talking about Americans. So when they talking about, a lot of the loyalists after they, lost the war, they were either evacuated to like places like Nova Scotia and somewhere else. There was another place they sent them to. It was Nova Scotia and somewhere else. It was two main places that they evacuated them to. And then like about half of those people, half of the loyalists were just brought back to America as slaves. So when it comes down to like trying to take the high moral ground of these loyalists and all of that, it's like, we're talking about war, first of all, and then second of all, the results of the war. It's not like these people fared so much better than black Americans. And then if we're just talking about America today to the UK or, England today, I can't think of too many black Americans that would switch places with a black Englander or a black person in the UK. You dig what I'm saying? So respect to that side to the pond of the pond or whatever. And especially when it comes to the, ancestors who fought for the crown. But even when I talked about black American self-defense, I said I wasn't even focusing on the black redcoats. Like, I just wasn't. I'm talking about America. So I'm going to be talking about Americans. But even further before that, I brought this up. I said, St. Augustine, Florida, founded in 1565, officially known as the oldest city in American history. This settlement was inhabited by free and enslaved black Americans, and there is no corner of American history that doesn't involve the ancestors. This is why I'm a proud American. Going back to my point, you don't do all of these things throughout centuries of a country's history to not stake claim in the country that you're doing it for. What would be the point of being anti-American and you want to vote in American elections? What would be the point of being anti-American if you want to set up black American towns or towns in America? Like, there is no point in that. And so you have a lot of people who only regard, the late 60s, 70s black history as the end all be all to the black American narrative, to where you have a lot more revolutionaries, a lot more anti-American sentiment, a lot more people just being openly anti the country that they, come from and live in. Now that has taken over the zeitgeist. So all of the patriotism, all of the, proud black American, heritage, cultural customs that we have, that we've cultivated in this country for centuries, now goes by the wayside and is now just relegated to, times where they can talk about particular, atrocities that happen. So they won't tell you about all of the amazing things black Americans were doing in the 1870s, 1880s, and 1890s. They'll just tell you about black codes. They won't tell you about all of the things that black Americans built throughout the top of the 20th century, your 1905s, your 1910s, your 1920s. They just relegate that all to just lynchings and Jim Crow, segregation, and just, oppression and racism. So all of that is just junk as far as the zeitgeist is concerned. So now when you go past that, when you go further back than that, you don't see all of this anti-American sentiment. I know a lot of people like to bring up, what is, the 4th of July to a slave by Frederick Douglass. And again, even Frederick Douglass wouldn't consider himself anti-American. And what people get misconstrued is you can be against the corruption or the, you know, the bad things that are going on in your government and still be proud of where you're from. That's just logic. That's just common sense. It's like you're not going to, you know, love every family member's personality. You're not going to appreciate all of the things that everybody in your family does. But at the same time, that's still your family. Your loyalty to your country, your nationality, and all of this other stuff is much more than a particular administration in the government. And that's the reason why the ancestors knew to keep fighting for, keep working towards, and keep moving towards the things that we see today. Well, the freedoms and the rights that we see today. Not so much the behavior, but yeah. So my entire message, and I hope I'm still coming in clear, my entire message is that there's absolutely nothing wrong with being a proud American as a black American. Absolutely nothing wrong with it. This is your country. This is where you're from. This is where your family is from. This is where your ancestors are from. You come from this land. You come from this soil. You have every right to be a proud American. You have every right to be able to explore every inch of this country. This is where you're from. You dig what I'm saying? And I do encourage people to travel just throughout the country. I think a lot of people suffer from being so closed in. Our country is so huge that people won't even leave their region and be fine. I'm talking about their entire lives, never even think about leaving their region. But yo, I just dare you guys throughout your life, just go to different places. Go to the states that was never on your radar. It's your country, yo. Like, participate in your country. And that's likewise with all of the other things, especially when we're talking about like local politics and stuff like that. Like, you have rights here, fam. It's like, yo, it reminds me honestly of like iPhones, where it's like you'll get the, you know, the illest iPhone, the latest iPhone or whatever, and only really use it to be on social media and take pictures. Like, you really don't use the functions of the phone for real. Like, I don't think y'all actually participate in America the way that you actually are entitled to as an American. And I implore all of you guys to actually, you know, travel your country, meet people, shake hands, have conversations, like, you know what I'm saying? Be amongst your countrymen. Like, you can always, you know, have a loyalty to a particular place. I mean, hell, before it was even in the United States, I remember I was talking to Sunny and she was telling me, no, that's not how it happened. I was watching Chad O. Jackson's interview, and then I told Sonny on her show how he was saying that, yo, before it was the United States, you had, and it was just, you know, colonies and stuff like that, you had people that were more loyal to their colony or loyal to their state versus an entire country. Like, I am a loyal Virginian, or I'm a loyal Marylander, or I'm a loyal, you know, whatever colony that they were a part of. So, yes, have pride in where you're from, but still travel, man. Go out and see your country. It's a huge like huge country to be from. So, again, the entire point is to be a proud American, and there's nothing wrong with that. Even with slavery, even with black codes, even with Jim Crow, even with all of those things, there's nothing wrong with you being a proud American. Now, this one I appreciated a lot. So this was a tweet that I pretty much got this from my video, the episode 2, I want to say, is Black American Self-Defense. It may or may not be that episode, but Black American Self-Defense. And I was talking about the Black American participation in the Revolutionary War. So I talked about that already, but this particular picture or this painting, I don't know why it's not loading. You can just go back. It doesn't matter. But this particular painting, you know, Washington crossing the Delaware, one of the things that I found when I was just doing the research for that video was I was looking at this painting and it was like, holy shit, there's a black dude here. Like, it's a black dude in this painting. And, you know, 200 retweets or whatnot. You know, people were like, oh my God, I never noticed it and stuff like that. So yeah, it's a black man, as you can see. It's a black man crossing the Delaware with George Washington. Now, there were people in the comments saying that this is one person or the other. Somebody said a guy named by the name of William Lee. When I did the research on it, I was told about a man by the name of Simon Cromwell. I want to say that's his name. Back then, that could have been on the boat. The reason why it's really up for speculation is because this painting was created decades after the war. Like, I think this was made in like the late 18th century, if not the top of the 19th century or something like that. Like, it was much later. So it's not like somebody was sitting on land and painted George Washington on this boat. You dig what I'm saying? So from what I gathered in the research of the painting, it was pretty much just a representative or a representation of the crossing of the Delaware, and showing how there were, multi cultures on the boat and stuff like that. So I thought that was super dope. And I just said, like, when I say Black Americans are found in every corner of American history, I mean it. And I genuinely mean that. Like, there is no United States of America as we know it without Black Americans. You dig what I'm saying? And I know a lot of people, when it comes to like your white nationalists, your anti-Black pages that you see go viral and stuff like that on the timeline, that love to like post like Black fight videos, Black shootouts, and Black degeneracy and all of that, those types would have you believe that due to the garbage that they post, that is the makeup of all Black Americans. And you and I both know that, that's just not true. It's absolutely asinine to even think. But when it comes to those types of people, they think that there really hasn't been any Black American contributions to the entire America, like the country's advancement. And it's absolutely asinine. But it goes back to what I tell you guys about how important it is to have proper history being told. Because if they were told proper history, they could still believe whatever they want to believe, but they would at least know the facts. That's the thing. And I said this before. It's like, I'm not here to change minds whatsoever. I see a lot of people like to do that. I see a lot of people like to create these bombastic statements about the past and shit like that. And because they know the average person is not going to fact check it, the average person doesn't even really know how to fact check it and research it on their own, that they get to get all of these things off and be looked at as like the supreme holders of knowledge. And it's just a bunch of lies. It's just a bunch of made up gobbledygook. But because of the way social media is set up, and I can't even say just social media, because loud and wrong people have been popular for ages. Like, that's just a thing. Like, if you have the gumption and you have the delivery and the cadence to be able to captivate an audience, you can say whatever you want. Like, that is one of the gifts of being a good orator, that no matter what you say, you have the ability to you have the ability to captivate an audience and be able to spew whatever you want to spew to them. And due to how it makes you feel, due to how it makes you feel, like, it resonates with you for whatever reason. It resonates with you, and off the strength of that, you hold on to it. And this brings me to my next point. So somebody quote tweets this tweet. Okay. Somebody quote tweets this tweet and says to me, what if I told you, or what do you say? Because I know, like, my internet connection is super wonky. So I know it's going to be hard for me to just click it. But dude basically said, what if I told you that everybody in this painting was actually Black? And I didn't even respond. I didn't even respond because I'm not about to argue. But I did stumble, based upon his page, I did stumble upon a section of Twitter that I didn't know about. I was I didn't see them on Twitter like that. There were certain things on the internet and all that other stuff. They weren't that prevalent or on my radar like that. But I've ran adjacent to these circles before. I just never really tapped into it because it overlaps in a lot of historical, ahistorical, and apocryphal narratives that I just stay away from, because when I do respond to these things, I want to actually respond with scholarship and not just my fact-based opinions. So this guy says this to me. So I find myself in a section of Twitter that essentially every white American historical figure is actually black, according to them. It's actually black. I don't know if you guys know this, but George Washington was actually black. Abraham Lincoln, actually black. Thomas Jefferson, actually black. And the list goes on and on when it comes to this. And I think they do this with Native Americans as well. And let me just say now, there is an admixture between the the colonial Africans that was brought here, and the natives and the Europeans as well. Like, that's where you get Creole from. Like, you get a mixture of African, European, and Native American people of different variations, different grades or whatever, the fairer skins, the darker skins, all of this other stuff. This is a mixture. So yes, there's going to be Native American mixture in Black American DNA, especially if you can really, trace your family back centuries here. That is wholly different than saying that every last Native American was black. Okay, that's wholly different than saying that every tribe that was on this land were black, because it gets super muddy, yo. And I think that's one of the reasons why, like, I stay away from the debate, is because, like, even there was a study or a paper written in 1984, and it was talking about the term Negro being used for Africans and natives. And the study was basically showcasing how wrong these Europeans were for classifying everybody who wasn't white a Negro, and being able to make these differentiations. Like, you have to be able to be smarter than that. So you'll have some historical documents from this time describing Native Americans as Negroes erroneously. Not to say every moment or every instance they were, but the reason why we know this is because when it comes down to actually, like, those same historical documents, they will make a differentiation between natives and Negroes in a lot of different instances. So if they're making a distinction in one book and then not making a distinction in the next book, you have to be able to use a historical context and be able to use other reference points in your studies to make sense of what the contradictions, to make sense of the contradictions that you're reading. That's the entire point. You want to make sure that you're coming back with a solid evidence-based narrative that you can back up with facts, and not just one book, especially not just one book that was written in like 2013. The reason why I tell y'all to, you go to primary sources and be able to read the books from the times yourself is because these people are going to describe what's going on around them. You dig what I'm saying? They are going to tell you what's happening. And so now you can say everybody is lying, but let's get into it, because that still doesn't make any sense to me. So the first one is this. So, like I said, primary sources are key. Always. Primary sources are key. So we have here, apparently, according to this gentleman, the real Abraham Lincoln. He was a melanated man. He was not a Caucasian or a, quote, white passing Melungeon. His half brother, Jefferson Davis, also was a melanated man. All right. And the evidence here is a source with absolutely no title, absolutely no page, absolutely nothing. It just says, and here's a little tidbit for y'all. When you are being faced with memes or images like this, the best thing that you can do is pay attention to the typing, pay attention to the typecast, pay attention to the fonts, and the how modern a particular text is versus the time that they're talking about. So just off the rip, before I read a single word of this, I'm looking at the letters. First of all, it has a white background, so that's already a red flag. If I'm looking at a primary source from the the 19th century, I'm expecting a light brown, a yellow, a very, dated look, because when we're talking about digital renderings of a particular book that's coming from centuries ago, they're going to be copied on a microfiche and microfilm, right? They're going to be copied, and each page is going to be as old as the book, the time the book was written. So if you're talking about a book that's been written in the 18th century, 19th century, you're going to have yellow pages just due to the oxidation of the pages, the time that passed, and all this other stuff, even if it was preserved in a library or whatnot. Honestly, those are going to be your best case scenarios when it comes to preserving text. There's going to be some yellowing. There's going to be some smearing. The spine of the book is going to be a lot more fragile, except just wear and tear over time. So off the rip, when I don't see yellowish, brownish papers, and then I also see modern fonts, as if this could have been anywhere between Windows 95 to, Windows XP. Who knows? But I do know that it's more contemporary. So again, you're telling me about something that's happening in the 19th century, but then you're using a source that's clearly using 20th century, like late 20th century, early 21st century technology to tell me. So already wary of it. Again, no source. There's no title to this. There's no page number to this. There's no author here. There's nothing. This is just trust me, bro. And it says, I see very plainly Abraham Lincoln's dark brown face, the figure, the look, the gait are distinctively impressed upon me. Yet the unusual and uncouth height, the dress of complete black, the stovepipe hat pushed back on the head, the dark brown complexion, seamed and wrinkled, yet canny looking face, the black bushy head of hair, the disproportionately long neck, the hands in the hands held behind, he stood observing the people. So, okay, dark brown face, so that automatically means he's black. We're going to get to the picture in a second. The dress of complete black. So he is now conflating the fact that Abraham Lincoln had a black suit on, clearly, with him being black. His bushy hair, I guess this is supposed to be an afro. We literally have photos of Abraham Lincoln. Does this hair look like an afro to you? Like, I don't understand. Like, and this is, again, the issue. Like, y'all be taking these words and then rendering them through your 21st century, brains and narratives and lenses, and try to make it seem like these people talk like you talk. It's no, like, when they're talking about dark brown, they're not talking about like you're like heavy pigmented, melanin. No, they're just talking about how much darker as a white man they are than maybe another white man. You had super high white people that they were almost like powder white, pale white. You had swarthy, that's how they would consider it. Another video that we're going to get into described it as ruddy, which meant like red, florid, all of these different complexions. It's like, yo, dog, white people come in these different complexions. I don't understand what's so crazy about reading this. And again, I do not know what sources is. I don't know who's talking about Abraham Lincoln or anything, but let's move on. It says, many descended to comments so primitive, so venomous, they were little more than name calling. He was a baboon, a chimpanzee, rough, half horse, half alligator character. He was descended from an African gorilla, Abe Lincoln, Abe Lincoln became the ape that ape Lincoln. So So now we're taking insults as a way to describe a person's skin color. And I love the fact that all of these highlighted parts is all of the parts they wanted you to read. Once you read everything in its full context, you can see that it's just pure nonsense. Like this, as far as the claim that they're making is nonsense. Because what he doesn't highlight is that they also said, as well as the primate, similes or whatnot, that he's an ape, he's a baboon, he's a chimp, and all this other stuff, which of course are, racist epithets, like racist euphemisms that they have for black people. So the racism is okay if it confirms a speculation or my implication of a white man's skin color. It's okay. Like, this is letting you know that they called him these names because he was black. You dig? But they don't highlight, for some reason, the rough, half horse, half alligator character. How come all of the animals, you feel me, all of the primates and stuff like that, which is to call him, uncivilized, like they said, he's uncouth, they say these things, you dig what I'm saying? And y'all, he's taking this as like, oh, he's describing him this way because he's black. Not because he's behaving in a way that they don't like, it's because he's black. And then the cherry on top for this one, chat, is this right here. This is supposed to this man right here is supposed to be the real Abraham Lincoln. And before we debunk this garbage, I want to ask y'all a question. Since there's enough of y'all in here, are they under the belief that the entire population of a country was going to keep this secret? If these people are racist enough to call him, or being reported to be calling him, an African gorilla, a chimpanzee, and an ape Lincoln, that these same people who are able to say these things, there weren't any authors in this time that would have been like, yo, Abraham Lincoln is super black, he's mad black, Abraham Lincoln is black. Like, you don't think nobody would have wrote this down? You don't think, like, you honestly think that they were going to be able to pull a fast one? Like, could you imagine, bro, like 300, 200 years from now, somebody being like, Donald Trump was actually black. They kept calling him Orange Man. They kept calling him orange, and what did orange mean? Orange is the orange, melanin and all this other stuff. You'd be like, what? But we dead. We've been dead for 100 years. And they just get to say, yeah, Donald Trump was a black man. Do your knowledge. Do your history. It's like, what? And then they're going to pull up blog posts, tweets, different Facebook posts that keep calling him Orange Man, Orange Man, Orange Man. And then you're going to have contemporary, AI and books being like, no, Trump wasn't a black man. They were calling him Orange Man because of his hair and his tan and all this other stuff. He had a tan. He's clearly a white man. And you're going to have other people making memes like this. And it's going to be Donald Trump over here and a fat black man with a toupee over here. And they're going to be like, yo, this is the real Donald Trump. And it's like, yo, dog, you mean to tell me that over 300 million people just was all in on this lie? Nobody's said that he was white at all. You dig what I'm saying? Like, I just, like, the logic, I don't understand the logic, son. So when it comes to this picture, and you can do this at home. All you got to do is just like put this in Google. You feel me? That's all you have to do. No, that's not what I want you to do. But what we can do is go to Google Images and then drag it over. Oh, yeah, because I got to actually do the photo itself, I think. But yeah, son, like, you could do this at the crib. All you got to do is just Google image search, like reverse this search, yo. And you'll be able to fact check this stuff yourself. This stuff is not hard to debunk at all. And I looked into it, and this dude obviously is somebody because he has a photo taken of him. Are they not gonna let me? There we go. But he's definitely not Abraham Lincoln, son. He's not Abraham Lincoln. Okay. So you go here. And you see where it comes from. That's what I do. You see how his is right here? But the original was from 4 years ago on Facebook. You can see where the nonsense begins. Yeah, never. Yep. The Real Lincoln by Matthew Brady. Okay, so this may be a source. We're told that both of these photos were taken by Matthew. Wow. Matthew Brady was an American photographer, one of the earliest in American history. Brady opened a studio in New York, 1844, photographed Andrew Jackson, John Quincy Adams, Abraham Lincoln, among blah, blah, blah. Brady photographed Abraham Lincoln on many occasions. Brady photographed blah, 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 blah. So where we get into... look at this. At least this person had the decency to file, to bring a source. So we got Walt Whitman, two rivulets, including Democratic Vistas, Centennial Songs, and the passage that India as a strong bird on the pinions, free and memoranda during the war. The dark brown complexion, blah, blah, blah. Oh, that's okay. So they're saying all of the quotes. Okay, that have the source. So yeah, you can look into these sources yourself. Again, I am not. So this source is from 2017. Dubious. I like primary sources, and then the other sources is from 2009, 1887. That's closer. But yeah, the mother of Lincoln was cast in finer mold with a face of the brunette type. Like, this is what I'm saying. Like, what? So when you are looking at the when you're looking at the primary sources, or at least sources from that time, it's like this. They say things like the mother of Lincoln was cast in a finer mold with a face of the brunette type. Like, that's very ambiguous, and it doesn't speak to skin color. What's another one from that era? Larry Tagg, that's 2009. The father of Lincoln was rough, illiterate, and a thriftless man with peaceful, brave, social, and kindly disposition. He was of a short and compact frame with dark, coarse hair and a brown complexion. Okay. So, again, just spicy white. Just spicy white. So, somebody in the comments actually debunked this as far as this picture. And I want to say his name was Edward James Roy. Yeah, here we go. Booyah. There we go. There he is, right here. Yep. Born in Ohio, died in Liberia. The 5th president of Liberia. That's who this man is. So it's not Abraham Lincoln. I don't know if I needed to tell y'all that. It's not Abraham Lincoln. It's a man by the name of Edward James Roy. And I know if I look into this, he probably had a pretty cool life. But you know what I think happened? Because he was the president of Liberia, there was somebody years ago was like, we could remix this and say that he was the president of the United States first. Yeah. That's him. Royce, 1850. So let's go. Let's see if we can find a source on this photo, because he said it was from Matthew Brady. Okay, Library of Congress. Because it had to come from somewhere. That's another thing when it comes to this stuff. Whenever you are doing research or you're unsure whether something is real or not, yo, trust and believe it had to come from somewhere. even if it was uploaded, by somebody, BSing you, it came from somewhere, son. They not giving me nothing. So yeah, assaulted paper prints. Well, yeah, not giving me much, but it's documented. It's in the Library of Congress. There we go. Another picture of him. But they want you to believe. They want you to believe that this is Abraham Lincoln, son. There's an entire Wikipedia page on him. And I guess everybody was in on it. They just made all of this lore up, knowing that he was born February 3rd, 1815 in Newark, Ohio. All of that's made up. His parents' name, John and Nancy Roy, freed African-American slaves who had moved to Ohio from Kentucky and bought a property in Newark. They were reportedly of Igbo origin. Roy's father managed a ferry across the Wabash River in Terre Haute, India. He owned property in Newark, Terre Haute, and Vandalia, Illinois. Due to his family's prosperity, Roy was able to attend Ohio University. He moved to Terre Haute after his father's death in 1836, where he established the African American community's largest barbershop. You see what I'm talking about? You see how the real story always much more fire than these lies that they be telling? Dude had the biggest barbershop. The biggest. Why are we not talking about that? Memphis says his hairline is crazy, but shout out to him. Let's see what the source is on this. Black History Month. Roy had a long road, blah, blah, blah. Okay, from 2021. Yeah. So that's who that is. And they did somebody else. The guy I want to say who told me about George Washington being black. Yeah, it was him. This is the guy that was in my mentions. And he had posted this whole video of this dude. It's a 6-minute video. But another one that gives sources, so I appreciate that. But again, just misinterpreting the text. They described George Washington as ruddy, which means red. And it was another one, florid. And then another time, I think they said the word black or something like that. But here's my thing. What do y'all think? What do you guys think is happening? That all of the painters, all of the authors are just making him white. Nobody is keeping it true. Do you think there's a law in place to where it's if we see any depictions of George Washington looking the way that he actually is during this time, we're going to jail you? Because if that's the case, then I need to see documents of that. I want to see why America hid the fact that George Washington was black. I want to know the reason why. So they cared enough to appoint him or vote for him to be the first president of the United States. Enough people supported the man as a black man to have him, preside over the country, but they weren't proud of what he looked like. What does that, how does that compute to y'all? When we have, during this time, documentation of black people, free black people. So why not the free black people who are authors at this time, painters at this time, didn't paint George Washington black? They should have the biggest reason to paint him as black, but they don't. Son, this is an entire community of people. I want y'all to notice, they are legitimately adamant about these white men being black, and they're not going to stop. So this video is part 1 and it's 6 minutes long. The
George Washington Bicentennial Celebration, Volume 1. This is where they document all the surroundings, all the history of George Washington, legend of George Washington, persona of George Washington. This is a book that documents all the historical facts about George Washington. So we go to page 225 of this book. The man himself, which is George Washington. Great similarities exist also in the word and the picture penned by those who met George Washington. So we want to establish that first. full height, 6 feet 2 inches, ruddy complexion. What is ruddy complexion? We'll get into that, but we'll stick up in there. Ruddy complexion, these are people who drew him, wrote about him, they're putting it about the man himself. Ruddy, of a red color, of a bright yellow color. That is ruddy, the meaning of ruddy. We'll go on to another book. Stick a pin on ruddy. Martha Washington, First Lady of Liberty by Helen Bryan. Page 85 of that book. Martha, with her children and her fortune, married George. She was a rich lady as well. George had his own money. They came together. George, he was tall, just like what we have read. He's 6 feet 2 inches, with a ruddy complexion. Ruddy again, keep popping up. Let's figure out what ruddy is. We said it's red and of a yellow color.
Dog. It's just more and more of this for 6 minutes. I'm not even going to hold you. It's just, yo, listen, fam. I didn't want to say it, Watcher, but it's babble. So, again, because people are calling George Washington ruddy as far as his skin complexion, right? Meaning red, by the way. And we all know that white people get red all of the time. Like, that's like a main characteristic. But he is now transforming or transmuting the red, like how they describe Native Americans, with this type of red. Oh my goodness. Like, ruddy means rosy, fam. Like, and we've seen mad pictures of or paintings of George Washington where he got like rosy cheeks, pause. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. Like, he's trying to say that George Washington. So check. Memphis says he's trying to say George Washington was a red bone. But dead ass though. Like, that's exactly what he's doing, yo. He's trying to get us to believe that George Washington was a black man, for real. Lauren says, and you got the TikTok generation believing this whole cloth. Yo, I'm talking about hook, line, and sinker. First, yo, Lauren, he got a bunch of books. He's citing a bunch of books. So that's already, I'm not even going to hold you. I got, even me as a researcher, I got to at the very least look at the books he's citing. I'm not going to take his word for it at all. I'm going to read it myself and then come with my own brain, you know, obviously come to the conclusion that, oh, they're just talking about him having, you know, rosy skin as a white man, as a pale man, because we've only seen George Washington described as pale, for real, but red. And I know that white people run red, especially the pale kind. You can see literally, you can see their veins, my G. Like, at certain points, they could be green, bro, but just due to the veins that you see, like, it's insane how colorful white people can get. You dig what I'm saying? So the kids are seeing the fact that he falling for the pimping. Vincent, I'm trying to tell you, Vincent is spot on. They falling for the pimping. So check. So he got the books. They're not reading those books, Lauren. They're not ever going to read those books. Those books are available online because that's where he got them. He doesn't have these books on his shelf. You dig what I'm saying? And I'm not one of those people that hate on digital libraries. I have an amazing digital library that I'm very, very proud of. I spent some of the time over the weekend actually like organizing my library. It's coming together. It's coming along nice. But anyway, you dig what I'm saying? They're not going to read these books. And again, the highlighter, yo, as a person who highlights, I'm not hating on highlights. You feel me? But as a person who highlights, I know why people, like, I know why I highlight for my own, like, I want to remember this, but I also, when I post it, I do want to drive home a particular point in the text, but I do my very best to show the entire paragraph to just give you context or whatever. He's doing something similar, but again, on the other side of that, you have people who will literally only read the highlighted text. They won't read anything before or after it. And he's just moving through slides, different books that he got, that he compiled his sources from, and all this other stuff. And he's just saying whatever the hell he wants to say about this, and then coming away with his own interpretation. And this is exactly why I tell y'all to do your own research. This is why I tell y'all to go to your primary sources first and foremost before you read or listen to a person that lived in the same age, that lives in the same age as you, tell you about what was going on in the past. This is the reason why I share all of my primary sources. He is doing similar to what I do. He's just misinterpreting the text. And that's like the final piece. You have to keep things in the historical context, because at that point, you can make up whatever you want. Because at this point, you don't even have to say, because this person is saying that George Washington was black, but everybody is describing George Washington as red, right? So why isn't George Washington a Native American? You could just come away with whatever you want to come away with. So what I'm saying is, yes, give your interpretations, but make sure that it's within the historical context. There's going to be words, especially words, phrases, terms, and all this other stuff that are used in a much different context 100, 150, 200 years ago than they are now, even if these words survive to this day, like ruddish or ruddy or florid. Yes, they're in the dictionary, but they describe white skin that has red pigment in it. Not that they are the same pigment of black people or Native Americans. Like, that's insane. So I didn't want to delve into Abraham Lincoln, the Vampire Slayer. Yo, when I tell you that movie has more has more historical accuracy than telling me that Abraham Lincoln was a black man, I'm telling you, like, that's exactly how much more accurate that nonsense was to this nonsense. But anyway, I say all of that to say, I go on this rant to say this. There are going to be people who are going to misuse, misinterpret, and use history for their own agendas. Just so you guys know up front, what my agenda is to reinstill pride of Black American history inside of Black Americans. And then if you guys, who are not Black American, want to, appreciate it or have reverence or respect for it, you as well. But it's to reinstill the pride, the power, the utility, the ingenuity, the spirit of Black Americans of the past. All of the things that our ancestors have done to achieve the greatness that they did needs to be remembered forever. Forever. Every generation that comes up needs to be reminded of all of the great things that our ancestors have done. Unfortunately, as you guys know what I rant about all of the time, Black American history has been told through our enemy's lens. And it could be black or white. It's been told through our enemy's lens, to where we highlight the oppression, we highlight the racism, we highlight the discrimination, we highlight all of the worst things about our ancestors' existence, and completely push to the side all of the things that they created, built, sustained, maintained, pushed forward, helped advance the nation and the race at the same time. So I'm here to remind you guys of all of those things, because they have been largely forgotten. They haven't been hidden, but they have been forgotten because they were replaced with a bunch of narratives that don't serve Black Americans at all. It serves the enemy. It serves the people who profit off of you thinking less of yourself, who advance themselves off the strength of your inferiority complex, who are able to get positions of power, to be able to build wealth, to be able to, do any and everything that they want, as long as they keep you depressed about your own self-image and your own self-esteem and your own lot in life. And because poverty exists in Black America, they'll always have a well to draw from. They'll always have a problem to drum up. They'll always have an issue that they can use to further, prove themselves. I tell you guys all of the time about the debate that I had with a Duke professor. I want to say he was from Duke. He's the author of the racial wealth gap study. I want to say his name is Dr. Sandy Darity. And one of the things that bothered me, because I read the study, disagree with it. I read the study, and in the study, he said that Black Americans can't save their way out of poverty, that they can't build wealth and close the racial wealth gap. They can't own property. They can't buy assets. They can't do any of the things that are available to them right now to be able to close the racial wealth gap. Now, I want to say first and foremost that I am not concerned with any gap at all. The only gap that I'm concerned about is the poor and rich black Americans in this country and being able to close that gap, because there are prosperous black Americans. We know that in every varying degree. We got billionaires, multimillionaires, a millionaire, thousandaires, and middle class and everything in between. We got the whole spectrum. I want to close that gap. I want more and more black Americans, everyday black Americans, making more than the average salary in the United States. I remember I ran through AI and I told it to pretty much give me the demographics, the economics, and all of this other stuff as it pertains to Asian Americans, but impose it onto black Americans and their populations. When I was talking about crime, economics, education, everything. And it came out so beautiful. And I'll read it to you guys in just a second. But when it comes down to the racial wealth gap, I asked him specifically, like, yo, you are a tenured professor at one of the top schools in this country as a black man. You also get paid for speaking engagements. You also are clearly, being peer reviewed and studied. You are literally, as far as your personal economy, have closed the racial wealth gap for yourself, at least for your last name, for your household. I don't know if he's married or not, but for your family, you've closed it. The average white American makes less than you. You've closed the racial wealth gap for yourself. And you're an economics professor teaching young children, period, but specifically young black college students, that they can't close the racial wealth gap by doing the same things that you did to close it. And then another professor hopped in the debate, and I asked both of them, like, yo, how much do y'all get paid for y'all speaking engagements? Because y'all have y'all emails in your Twitter bios for booking. Like, how much are you charging these people to come speak? How is it that you're able to enrich it? Like, yo, think about that. They're able to enrich themselves by telling other people that they can't. Or at the very least, can't get rich as white people. Like, that should be a barometer. Asians make more than whites. Why are we not shooting for Asian status? But no, it's about keeping these people focused on a boogeyman, always focused on a particular issue and not on themselves, not building themselves. And it goes back to the reasons why I come out of the Booker T. Washington school of things and not your W.E.B. Du Bois's, because Booker T. Washington was all about self-reliance. Booker T. Washington was all about self-sufficiency. It wasn't about having, society let you succeed. No, you're going to create your own success through your own merits, through what you are actually able to offer the world, society at large. You will be paid handsomely based upon how great your achievements are. But you have actual professors at prestigious schools telling the future of our nation that, yo, I don't care what you do, you can't close the racial wealth gap without getting the federal government involved. That's pretty much what they were alluding to, or he was alluding to. That you have to be able to get the federal government involved. And this is not about reparations, because I'm for reparations. This is about teaching black American youth that whatever they do to pursue life, liberty, happiness, prosperity and all of that, it won't even matter, because it's not, you can't, compete with the white man, or it's not as good as the white man. You see what I'm talking about when we center white people in our narratives? History-wise, historically or contemporarily, white people got to be involved. So even though I'm building my wealth, I'm taking care of my family, I'm having kids, I'm buying land, I'm doing all of this other stuff, I still have to be worried about the national racial wealth gap. I can't even be proud of my success. And he tried to hit me with that too. Like, no, young brother, he tried to sun me because, he older than me. No, young brother, I'm not saying that you can't particularly prosper, or individuals can't prosper, but black America as a whole can't prosper. It's like, yo, what is the whole if not an amalgamation of a bunch of individuals? Like, what are you talking about? Like, what makes you, because at that point, what makes you so special? And that's when we get into that elitism. Like, what makes you so special that you can become a professor? So you went to, K through 12, graduated, went to college, graduated, became a teacher in a school, in a college, became a professor in a school, and then went on to be tenured to where you can't even get fired. All within the realms of white supremacy, all within the realms of racism, systemic and otherwise. You were able to enrich your life. So please tell me what makes you so special that the average black boy, average black girl can't do the same exact thing you did. And you are much older than us. So you come from a more tumultuous time. I don't know what year he was born in, maybe the 50s, maybe the 60s or whatever. But I would have to assume that you were, born around the time during Jim Crow or the ending of Jim Crow. Like, how is it that during the time that you were able to get an education as a young child, where it was more, systemic issues going on for black Americans, that you can rise out of all of that? But a black kid in the 21st century who has a supercomputer in his pocket has the ability to connect and research more than you could ever have at his age. You dig what I'm saying? How is he unable, but you were? So again, like I disagree with that entire premise, dog. Like, you enriching yourself by telling people that they can't enrich themselves as a whole, to try to make that a caveat. And then for me, on the other side of the spectrum, you have people like me who are enriching ourselves through purporting positive things about the ancestors. Like, I make money off the Patreon. I make money off of my research and stuff like that. And most of what I put out there, most of the stuff that I teach are coming from a place of pride, a place of education, a place of inspiration and motivation based upon the actions and behaviors and thoughts and, works of our ancestors. Putting a whole bunch of dope stuff that you may have never heard as far as our ancestors. Like, for instance, I talk about Junius G. Groves a lot. That's one of my favorite stories. It's like, for me, the Black American dream. Coming from nothing and then dying with, wealth and a big family. You dig what I'm saying? That's the Black American dream. And I'm able to tell his story about how he got rich and how he enriched himself and others. And I'm able to enrich myself based upon me telling that story. So for me, it's like the ancestors is getting me paid. The ancestors, through their lessons that I'm able to retell and actually just enact in my own life. I got tomatoes growing right now. You feel me? Now, I don't know about being the Negro tomato king. You feel me? But I got my own tomatoes growing out there. But I'm able to enrich myself, make money off of retelling the stories of my ancestors who made money. You see how that positive feedback loop, how that economic ecosystem is much better than me telling you about all of the hell our ancestors went through only, and never telling you about the triumphant stories, never telling you about the stories of success, never telling you about the stories of building. Nah, I'm just going to keep talking about white people, because that's really what it's about. Y'all not even talk. Like, when they tell this Black American history and they talk about the lynchings only and they talk about the black codes only, Jim Crow only, I promise you, if you just listen to them with your eyes closed, you're not even thinking about black people. You're thinking about the things that white people are doing. So you're thinking about the man that's stringing up your ancestor. You're thinking about the judge that's unjustly sending a black man to prison or trying to re-enslave him. You're not even thinking about this stuff through the eyes or through the perspective of the ancestors. You're doing it from the oppressor's mindset and point of view. And these people just don't peep it. And they psyop themselves into hating themselves, just like these people back then did. I say it all of the time. They don't view our ancestors that were slaves as humans that were enslaved. They look at them as slaves who are human. It's a completely different narrative just from that. Humans who were enslaved versus slaves who are also human. That's how that when you look at perspectives, when you look at lenses, when you're talking about narratives and point of view, I am on this side that understand that slavery is an institution that happened throughout the world. That even when you account for chattel slavery and all of the gruesomeness, that I'm talking about the brutality, I'm talking about the hell. I'm not one of those dudes who sugarcoat anything. I'm gonna always shoot straight when it comes to the history. But that's the reason why I talk about the triumphant stuff, because of how bad it was. Let me tell you how we rose from the ashes. Let me tell you how we persevered. Let me tell you how we jumped over these hurdles. Let me tell you how we knocked down these walls, broke down these obstacles. I'm going to give this much to the hell. As far as my grand narrative, give this much to the hell. I'm giving you all. I'm giving you all of the triumphant shit. How many entrepreneurs just from the start of this, from episode 1 to now episode 13, entrepreneurs, landowners, farmers, professionals, architects, builders, all of this other stuff that went untalked about, just unsung for decades until I put it on your radar. Google Dr. S.D. Redmond and see what comes up. Despite him being a magnificently wealthy man, he has one of the most illustrious resumes that I've ever seen. And nobody talks about him. All of the different people that we talk about, and we're going to get into more people because it's not just those 10 people that I'll be talking about. It's hundreds more. It's hundreds more. But they don't tell you about all of this stuff, and they do it on purpose. And I'm going to be banging this until I can't no more. It's an onslaught of ahistorical, apocryphal garbage being funneled into the minds of everybody that is willing to listen. So I got to go hard and remind y'all that, yo, that's a lie. This is the truth. Abraham Lincoln wasn't black, yo. We don't have to debate about this. He was not black. If he was black, I promise you, yo, there would have been people who did not care about nothing else other than making sure that the future understood that Abraham Lincoln was black, son. It is impossible to keep one's race away from somebody, especially among the people who are living among them, dog. Like, you see this man whenever you see him. He's the president of the United States, bro. You cannot have millions of people, thousands of people, however many people that was in America at the time, keep this one secret. It's insane. And then to say it goes back to George Washington and a whole bunch of other stuff, like, it's insane. But it feels good. It sounds good. But it doesn't make any sense. So the chat going crazy. Let me see. Let me go to the I don't think the two are mutually exclusive. I don't know what you mean. I don't know if he's talking about the racial wealth gap. But I would, Lauren says, I would ask how they sleep at night, but apparently it's on a pile of cash. Yeah, that's a fact. Yeah. And that's the entire point. They want you to always walk away with the victim narrative, so that way you render yourself powerless before you even think to do something. If all of your ancestors were a bunch of losers, what do you think you're going to think about yourself? And that's honestly where these radical people thinking they're tough be on that we're not our ancestors stuff. And it's like, yo, dog. That is so funny to me. You know how they say, like, yo, I couldn't have been a slave. I couldn't have been a slave. White men would have had to kill me. I wasn't working for free. I wasn't going to be doing all this. I wasn't going to be doing all of that. And it's like, yo, dog, what are you talking about? You scared to use your PTO? What are you talking about? You believe nonsense like this on the internet. You fall for all of the pimping that America is giving you as far as like the commercials and stuff. You buy into a whole bunch of garbage. You put a bunch of chemicals in your body. Like, you do exactly what you're told. What are you talking about? Just with the illusion that you're making your own decisions. But like, nah, what are you talking about? You get told what to do every day, all day, and you like it. They be on your body in your office. You be having to play like lo-fi hip hop at your desk on the lowest volumes possible because you don't want to mess up company culture. Like, what are you talking about? You gotta keep your hairstyle a particular way. You gotta like abide by so many different rules. There's an employee handbook that you gotta abide by, and they can fire your ass at will. And they make you give them a 2-week notice. Like, what are you talking about? Where's this independent streak that you be telling me about? Because if it was really like that, then you would be making your own. You'd be building your own. That's what Booker T was on. It was about self-reliance. But y'all clock in every day. What are y'all talking about? Yes, you would have. You would have been on that plantation working. Yes, you would have. I don't believe you. I don't believe you. You don't even take control of your life right now. You don't take any charge of your life right now. You want me to expect me to believe that you would have been the rogue slave or the tough slave, man. Get out of here. But yo, back to my whole point. This whole we are not our ancestors stuff, it comes from these people dead ass thinking that our ancestors was a bunch of punk ass bitches. Like, that's what they do. They really think that anything before the Black Panthers and those type of revolutionary groups, that we was just soft, that we was just laying down. Because, you know, you got Martin Luther King with the nonviolence and all this other stuff. And then you got Malcolm X telling him, like, yo, son, I'll put a bullet in you if you try to take my life. I'm all about the self-defense. I'm all about the self-defense. So that's when they think that black people just started owning guns. They think black people just started owning guns in the 60s, bro. Like, this is insane. Despite being in literally every war in American history, they think black people just picked up guns when a bunch of young people in berets and leather jackets and sunshade and sunglasses, you know what I'm saying, picked up rifles. Like, no, they got that from somewhere. They learned that from somewhere. You dig what I'm saying? So understand, the studying of your history is more important than you actually realize, man. I'm telling you, it shapes you. It really does. Where you come from, how you come from there, who you come from, all of that matters, yo. All of that matters. And I'm telling y'all right now, son, I'm not anybody's savior. And I'm not trying to act like I'm the most influential person in black history spaces. Because as you can see, I'm pretty sure this TikTok video or whatever is doing like super numbers. And my TikTok, I don't even know if I have like 100 followers on there. So they cooking. But when it comes to me, fam, like I can't do it. I just refuse. I refuse. I'm not going to use my influence to reinstate some type of, you know, victim mindset. I just think it's just super backwards, especially because when I see the responses, I see the reactions to the things that I teach. I see how happy people are after they learn about all of the successful black American ancestors that they have. You dig what I'm saying? I see the pride. I see the glow when I tell kids about all of these successful people. You dig what I'm saying? Like other teachers, like Teach, right? When she found my page, like she was elated that there was somebody else that talked like this. And especially the way I talk about it. Like I'm very, you know, heavy-handed with the way that I speak. And she was like, she appreciated that. Like, yo, finally, there's somebody else, you know what I'm saying, other than me, who looks at black American history much differently than other, like most people look at it. Like I have a sense of pride based upon the things that I read. And I don't fill my head up with all of these different oppression narratives. It's counterproductive to what you actually want out of people. And when you look at everybody else's, you know what I'm saying? When you look at everybody else's history, it's nothing but highlights. It's nothing but highlights, yo. It's nothing but highlight reels. Their history is full of just dope shit that they did. Everything that the white man invented, they give him all of the praise. Everything that the white man achieved, they give him all of the praise. Like, there is no, white man, poor white people, none of that. They don't talk about none of that. And I'm not saying that we should do that. I feel like we should have the entire, 360 degree of our history. However, when it comes to the history books, as far as white America overall, it is nothing but highlight reels, bro. It's nothing but the dopest shit that they ever did as far as, European or American history as it pertains to white people. Nothing but highlights. But we got to get the lowlights of our history. We got to hear about all of the downtrodden, oppression, beating you over the head. Those narratives. Those are synonymous with Black American history. You feel me? And at worst, the white American narratives is that they are the ones who perpetuated all of this stuff, which of course brings on as the narrative or implied narrative of power, control. They got, supremacy. That's where this white supremacy shit comes from. They're supreme. They got it all. They've almost, I'm not going to hold you, in a lot of cases, they've almost deified white people. They've almost made these people like these all-knowing supreme beings because of the opposition. That's it. Because of the things that they were, willing to do. These people are supreme over us. And this is the problem that I have, son. I'm not telling Black American history through these lenses. I refuse. Millions of Black Americans being reduced to a few decades in our history, son. Like, are you kidding me? That's shortchanging the ancestors. I can't go for it. Mr. X says, for example, a part of using our power would be organizing to get people in office to make policies that increase black wealth. Yeah, I would say policies to increase black wealth. I would have to know what you meant by that. Well, what you mean by that. You know what I'm saying? Because it's like whenever I see government getting involved with Black American advancement, for the most part, it be fine print. It be tricks. It be tricks in there. So, and I don't be trusting it all of the way. You know what I'm saying? Maybe sustaining it, maintaining it. I look at it like this. Any law that's on the books right now that's prohibiting Black Americans from building wealth or getting what they're due as far as reparations, I'm against. Right? But I am also against having the government control your prosperity. I'm very, very wary of that. Very, very untrusting of that. I have a high distrust of our federal government. But I'm not all the way against it if you can propose something that actually, would make some sense to me. Glasgow says what's going on, Glasgow? He says the white man is Thanos in the views of many blacks. Yeah, for real. Legit. They can turn your lights off. That's it. Could snap their finger and just 50% of the population gone just because they said so. You dig what I'm saying? So let's get into some cool stuff, man. Let's get into some cool stuff. I tweeted some cool stuff. I want to get into this. I found this last night. So I'm always researching. I'm always going to find something new. Listen, if you're watching this, if you're listening to me, understand you need to be learning something new every day. Every day. Every day you should be learning something new. Don't let a day go by without you learning something new. So today I learned niggas think that George Washington is black. But last night I learned that a man by the name of Orrin C. Evans created the first black comic book, and it was called All Negro Comics. He made it in 1947. It had 7 different original stories, including Ace Harlem, famed Negro detective. Now, let me let y'all know something, chat. That is the most fire name. Ace Harlem, son. Oh, my God. That is a fire detective name. That is a fire detective name, son. Ace Harlem. Hold on. You gotta be kidding me, son. Look at that. That's so fire. Ace Harlem. Tell me y'all wouldn't read this comic. Ace Harlem. So that's the goons, and this is the good guy. This is Ace Harlem right here. You dig? We got our own stories. And I'll put y'all on to where y'all can read this and where I found it. But I mean, if y'all know how to do your Googles, I should have found it by now. But yeah, like yo, I'm trying to tell y'all, yo, it really don't be like this super deep thing when it comes to me. Like I literally last night was like, what is the black owned comic books from the past? Just looked it up. I was interested in knowing black comic books, and this is the one that came up. And shout out to him for the way that he did it, because in his opening page he gives first of all, he puts his picture in there, which I appreciate. You know what I'm saying? He puts his picture in there, and then he gives a reason why. Like all of this. And this is what I be telling y'all. Even in our comic books, he's like the authors are going to address the reader, either by calling you reader, even calling you audience, whatever it is, they're going to address you. Right? So all Negro comics presenting another first in Negro history. So this is the first Black American comic book. Okay. Oren says, "Dear readers, this is the first issue of all Negro comics, jam-packed with fast action, African adventure, good clean humor, and fantasy. Every brushstroke and pen line in the drawings on these pages are by Negro artists, and each drawing is an original. That is, none has been published. Any. Where? Oh, excuse me. I thought that was a period. None have been published anywhere before. This publication is another milestone in the splendid history of Negro journalism." So again, creating things, understanding the historical relevance of it. I am doing this. Like, he could have just made the comic book, but he also wanted to let people know, before you even get into the stories, let me let you know the reason why I am doing this. I am doing this to actually, first of all, make history, and then also to contribute to the future generations of things that they're able to do, even if it's something as making a comic book, right? So all Negro comics will not only give Negro artists an opportunity gainfully to use their talents, but it will glorify Negro historical achievements. So again, this is the ancestors. This is what I be talking about. They be talking. The ancestors be talking directly to us. And he's saying, yo, first of all, every line in this book is black. Every last one of them. A black artist created this. Or black artists created this. That's first and foremost. So that's already employing however many people. Because this is Oren C. Evans. And I want to say, if we go back here, I know it'll be moving slow, but the person who made the story, at the very least, of Ace Harlem was named John Terrell. So John Terrell got a job by Oren. And he says, this is about showcasing black artistry while also glorifying Negro historical achievements. Do y'all get what I'm saying, yo? This is what the ancestors be talking, like they've been talking like this. This is from 1947. I'm doing this to show the babies, because this is who's going to be reading the comics. That's going to be the main, audience. That this is where we come from. This is what we're able to do. So not only am I showing the contemporary children that are in my generation that these are the things that they're able to do, I'm also thinking about the future. I'm also highlighting history. This is just a comic book, yo. And all of this is the purpose of the publication. Glasgow says, let me go to the chat on the screen instead of my phone. It says, the other day my son was playing with his Nerf gun last week, and I told him a black man invented it. It blew his mind. Every opportunity I'm letting him know about my expectations. Be great. Exactly. That's what this is all about, fam. That's what it's all about. Now, imagine if Glasgow told his kid, he's like, well, instead of letting him know about the black man creating the super soaker, you feel me? He'll tell him about how the local fire station was hosing down black people. Like, and that's all he told them. You see what I'm saying? Like, just think about just how that shapes a young person's mind. Extremely important. So, back to the page. Glorify Negro historical achievements. Through Ace Harlem, we hope dramatically to point up the outstanding contributions of thousands of fearless, intelligent Negro police officers engaged in a constant fight against crime throughout the United States. Through Lion Man and Bubba, it is our hope to give American Negroes a reflection of their natural spirit of adventure and a finer appreciation of their African heritage. And through Sugarfoot and Snake Oil, we hope to recapture the almost lost humor of the lovable wandering Negro minstrel of the past. Finally, Do Dillies will give all of us, young and old, an opportunity to romp through a delightful, almost fairy-like land of make-believe. And we're proud, too, of our big educational feature, a monthly historical calendar on which the contribution of the Negro to world history will be set forth in each issue. You dig what I'm saying? This is what, like, yo, I don't know, because I've noticed this about this, because, like, there's certain things that pop on my timeline, certain things that are popular, certain things that are not. But I'm going to let y'all know something. Everything that I post, as far as the ancestors go, when it's things like this or the most popular housewife contest and all of that other stuff, understand that I am completely enamored with it. I read through the entire comic book last night. I fell asleep to it. You feel me? Like, I'm completely enamored with this stuff. I'm a super fan of this stuff. I keep it cool. I don't be sitting there yelling in all caps and all this other stuff. But, like, for me to bring it to y'all on the timeline, trust and believe, I thought it was dope enough to share. You feel me? You know how much black history, like, first of all, just off the strength of my research, y'all seen it. I be in the archives all day. I read black history all day, like all day, all day. If I'm not doing my day job, I'm doing this. You feel me? So when it comes down to my research, understand that I have poured over hundreds of pages of Black American history. Hundreds. And out of those hundreds, this is the few that I share with y'all. Because we need to highlight this. You dig what I'm saying? Like, I turn the pages on just entrepreneurs and architects and all these different people like that. I don't take them for granted. I know that they're there, but I'm looking for something in particular. In this case, I was looking for the first black comic book. So that's what I looked into. And this is what I got. And I'm glad, like, yo, I couldn't have asked for a better preface to a comic book. As a black American historian who studies the way that I study, and I'm looking for positive, affirmations of black America, this is the perfect preface, especially for a comic book. I was not expecting this. But he, even in 1947, understood the gravity of what he was doing and understood the relevance and how powerful this actually is based upon the things that he's bringing to the table. And we're talking about comic stories, fam. Ace Harlem is not real. It's made up. But he understood the importance of getting these artists who have talent into a publication. Before we try to ask all these other white companies or white newspapers or whatever it is to put us on, yo, we could just do it ourselves. I'll showcase you. Oh, you got a story called Ace Harlem? It's a detective, all of this other stuff. We have our own original stories. Like, yes, let's showcase that. And then, you know what? Let's make sure we sprinkle in Black American history throughout the issues. Every issue, we're going to hit them with some history. So while the kids are laughing at the, Do Dillies or being enamored by Ace Harlem or all the Lion Man and Bubba. See, this is before, like, it was, the way Pan-Africanism, especially modern Pan-Africanism, has been. Having that connection with Africa wasn't always this tumultuous. The diaspora wars and stuff like that just has gotten so off kilter, it's insane. But It was no problem to show reverence for Africa. Why not? You dig what I'm saying? But I get it now. I'm not about to go into the whole diaspora war thing. My whole entire lineage is Black American. I don't have time. I know, though, just from how I grew up, I had plenty of Caribbean friends, plenty of African friends. It is what it is. I know the discourse has taken a crazy left turn. I get it. I understand. Delineate if you need to, all of that other stuff. However, when it comes to the people who have like been cool, they've never been on some anti-Black American stuff, these people shape how you deal with people. Just being honest. I had Jamaican friends, Dominican friends, all different types of Caribbean friends, had African friends. Like, that's just what I come from New York, son. It's like, come on, give me a break. You dig what I'm saying? But I say all of that to say is that them even highlighting Africa in this is good. It's a good. Because I know they're not going to center everything around Africa because they don't know that much about Africa. They lived in America their whole lives. The type of, ingenuity, the fact that he would want to even create a Black comic book wasn't based upon Africa. It was based upon American publications. And him more than likely being a fan of comic books. All American things. So I already know that he was going to sprinkle in, like he said, a monthly historical a monthly historical calendar on which the contributions of the Negro to world history will be set forth in each issue. So, yeah, I'm pretty sure he'll add Africa in there and all these other things, but he's going to have American history in there as well. And I ain't going to hold you. I'm not even against African history. It's just that this doesn't get talked about. Our history does not get talked about enough for me to be focusing on a completely different continent made up of dozens of different countries. Like, it doesn't make any sense to me. So I'm going to focus on Black American history. That's what we're here for, right? But this is why I go so hard. This is why I preach the things that I preach. Now, unfortunately, chat, this is the one and only issue of all Negro comics. One and only issue. So, honestly, this is easy. This is super easy. All you gotta do is all Negro comics. Boom. You go there. Let's see. I got it. This is the path that I went. I don't know if everybody else goes this way. I think Sin had put in the comments another way to go. But here we go. 1947 Comic Book Plus. This is the source that I used. We got here. I appreciated this source because this reminds me of the old internet. I miss the old internet. I don't know about y'all. I miss the internet of the 90s, chat. I miss the internet was just a super dope place. It was really the frontier. Like, if you was on the internet in the mid to late 90s, early 2000s, you were a literal pioneer, fam. And I just remember websites looking like this. Well, you had to do your own graphics. You had to have, be your own webmaster. You feel me? And you had to do your own thing. And one of the things that I appreciate about these types of sites is that these are the predecessors of Wikipedia and stuff like that. Like, before Wikipedia, you just had to find a website that talked about something, obscure. You know what I'm saying? Oh, the chat going crazy. Hold on, let me check it out and see what's going on. I just saw a big Ayo. Ooh. Oh yeah, we gonna get to it. Lauren says, "Man, I would love to read those comic books." Shout out to Bert. Salute, bro. Glasgow says, "We are creators. Being from Birmingham, Alabama, I've been beat over the head with the oppressive talk. Can't pass that along." Lauren says, "It sounds like something that should have been brought mainstream if we could trust filmmakers to represent the story properly, but it sounds like his stories have already been used and rescripted. Hey, yo, what's the story behind that?" I'm a little lost. It's fine. I'm going to just let y'all talk amongst yourselves. Get out y'all business. Yeah, but yeah, Netscape, yo, Ask Jeeves. Yeah, man. Like the old internet. I miss that. So, this is the website Yeah, man. Definitely the Wild Wild West. So, all 52 pages are right here. You can go through them. You can go through them. Let me see. Hold on. Let me do this. Let me zoom out. Let me zoom out a little bit. There we go. Yep. So you can zoom out and just flip through. Flip through. I ain't gonna lie, I don't want to spoil it for y'all, but the way this story ends is crazy. The way this story ends is crazy, man. But I'm telling y'all, man, like I love it, man. I'm sorry. Like I'm super just lit off of this. I know it's just one comic book, one issue, and all of that, but like, yo, man, I just appreciate this so much. I appreciate this like so much. Like just all of the characters is black. Like like it's just so fire, man. It's so fire. And it's like for me, it just lets you know that like we never really centered white people, yo. And I know I keep bringing that up. Son. But I'm telling y'all, like, yo, that shit is important because kids really be walking around here with white people on the brain as it pertains to their lineage, as it pertains to their ancestors. And that is a crime, son. That is a crime against black American humanity, son. Why aren't the babies reading Ace Harlem? Now, I don't know if Lauren was talking about making a movie about Ace Harlem, but I 100% agree. 100% agree. Yo, Ace Harlem movie. First of all, his name is Ace Harlem. Can we, like, I'm not over that. I'm not over the fact that his name is Ace Harlem. That is such a fire name, son. Like, y'all watch Paid in Full. It took place in Harlem, and the nigga name was Ace. Like, this was in 1947. I love Paid in Full. Can you imagine if we would have had a TV show, a cartoon, or a movie about Ace Harlem, son? Y'all about to make me read this story to y'all. Y'all about to make me read this story to y'all because I'm telling you, y'all, this get me hype, son. It get me hype. Oh, let me show y'all something. So y'all know I be in the archives, right? Y'all know I be in the archives. Let me show y'all what come up. Let me show y'all what come up when you type in a particular word. Let me show y'all what comes up when you type up Hotep. Oh, wait. What? Hold on. There we go. This is what comes up when you type in Hotep in the archives. Look at Hotep, y'all. Hold on. Look at Hotep. This is Hotep in Tarzan. In the comics of what publication is this again? The Evening Star. Yep, this is Hotep. Oh, man. Speaking of comics, right? This is Hotep. Let's see. Yo, I love this shit, son. Y'all have no idea how much I love this, man. Hold on. Okay, I got it. I wanted to zoom out a little bit. There we go. So, yeah. By Edgar Rice Burroughs. God, why is it doing this to me? It's zooming in all crazy. So at the death of the bull ape, Tarzan's mighty victory cry thundered through the forest, so that the shrieks of little Hotep could not be heard as the she-ape Yahara carried him off. As Yahara loosed her upon him, Hotep wriggled free and climbed out of a bending branch. The she-ape shook the branch ferociously as Hotep struggled to hold on. This is Hotep, little jungle boy. I'm telling you, man, you never know what you're going to find in the archives, chat. I'm telling you. He himself carried little Hotep off to the place of the strange ritual. It's a whole thing. 3 old Shis started beating steadily upon the earth mound beside which Hotep lay very still. Hotep is Tarzan. Nah. Hotep is this young man right here, fam. He's young. He's little Hotep. Little Hotep, man. I don't know. He's supposed to be Indian, African. Where Tarzan take place? In Africa or India? Because I know the Jungle Book takes place in India. You feel me? But yep, that's Hotep. So yeah, man. Man. Oh, so yeah. I can what I'll do is go back to the first page. I don't know if that's going. All right, so it doesn't change anything. So just to give it to y'all directly into the chat so y'all can check it out on your own time. There y'all go. Go ahead and click that link at your leisure. You feel me? Y'all can watch. Y'all can read along. You know. But yeah, unfortunately, it's only one issue. One issue. Put it back to 100%. Yup. 10 out of 10. I believe it, man. I believe it. So let's go back. Let's do some do some archive digging, huh, chat? See what the archives got for us today. See what we can learn. Look. See? Look what the chat do. Look what Lauren said. Lauren says, from the wiki, Burroughs was an explicit supporter of eugenics and scientific racism. Getting them racist comics off. Getting them off. I'm trying to tell you, man, you got to be wary of these people, man. And why they come the way they come. So there's a set. Oh, I just got to look for it on my email. But there's a set way that I searched. Like, you know, I got my filters. So I got to just click the link that I emailed myself with the filters already on it. Because the filter it's filtered out to 33 black newspapers. And that's what we was filtering off of. Trying to tell you, man. I love this so much, man. I love this so much. Yo, not for nothing, absolutely irrelevant to what we was talking about. But I don't know if y'all listen to bossa nova music, like, you know, samba and all of that from like the 60s and 70s, you know, Brazilian music. But that genre of music has me in a chokehold, y'all. I love that music. It's some beautiful music. Some beautiful music. I definitely encourage you guys to check it out. Where is it? I be emailing myself. Nobody emails me more than myself. Here it is right here. All right. Copy and paste. Oh, Lauren, I ain't gonna hold you. Not gonna hold you. Ain't a single name that I can give you. I can't give you a single name, baby. All I know is the music. Someone to hold me tight, that would be very nice. Someone to... yeah, that's my shit. Someone to cling to me, stay with me right or wrong. Someone to sing to me some little samba song. Someone to take my heart and give her heart to me. Someone who's ready to give love a start with me. Oh yes, that would be so nice. I'm telling you, man. Yeah, y'all ain't know. Y'all ain't know I could sing. See? You learn new things over here at Hotep Hotep history. Oh, okay. Copy. Give me the name. All right. Put me on. There we go, Lauren. There we go. Put me on. Each one teach one. You heard? I'm going to get into it. All right. So this is the one that I think is filtered for the blacks. All right. Here we go. So what we searching today, chat, man? Hotep records for the 99 and the 2000. Yes, sir. Let's see. Let me go back to this one. So what we searching tonight, chat? What we interested in? Y'all be giving me like the super difficult joints. I don't know, man. We got 33 black newspapers that we can search from. We searched communism last time, and that was a smoker. We learned a lot from the ancestors about communism. They wasn't with it. Lauren, I don't know if you was here that night, but they was not with it. The ancestors was like, hell no, we not jacking communism. Who told you that? Who told you that? Who said that? You know what I'm saying? Oh man. So so we're gonna do inventor. All right, let's see what we come up with when it comes to inventor. Almost 3,000 results. Good catch. Ooh, mutual aid. We'll do that one next, X. We'll do that one next. Someone to. All right, so let's narrow this down. Let's do front page only. Front page news. Let's try to narrow it down. We're not about to go through 3,000 entries here tonight. So let's see. Inventor of Big Bertha is insane? What? Ghosts of victims of huge gun have unseated his reason. So dude went crazy? Oh, this is in Berlin. This ain't none of our business. But hold on real quick. The inventor of the Big Bertha, which first shelled Paris on March 23rd, 1918, from a distance of nearly 80 miles, now is an inmate of the German state asylum in Andernach. Men whose minds fail to stand up under the strain and horrors of war are his only companions. So he went crazy after the war. Oh, man. What we got? Is this the same one? Yeah, it's the same one. I'm not going to have to put Negro inventor. I don't be wanting to do that for the black ones. Long before the public believed the motor inventor left. What? John Worley Keeley, inventor of the Keeley motor, died today at his home. Oh, rest in peace, man. Not interested. Let's say real estate or something to do with investing. Okay. We can get in this. Let's get into it. I'm just trying to find something good for an inventor. But this is another part of it, though, chat. When I just be searching and searching and searching. All right, let's see. Hold on. Because I ain't about to keep doing this. They ain't going to keep giving me bits and pieces. What we going to do? We're going to try to get specific on them. See what happens with Negro inventor. Okay. The only living person to set foot on the North Pole is a Negro. Oh, they talking about Henry was it Henry Johnson or something like that? What was his name? Henson. Yeah. All right. Invented several electrical appliances. The most useful Negro inventor with a career extending into the 20th century was Granville T. Woods. Right. Y'all know about Granville T. Woods. He invented 15 appliances having to do with the electrical railways and a number of others for electrical control and distribution. He directed his attention also to telegraphy, producing several patents for sending messages between moving trains and also several transmitters. Well, shout out to Granville T. Woods. I have heard of him. I think I actually did something on him. Pause. Super pause. But yeah, I actually think I did a video on him or something, or at least mentioned him in the video. Matthew Henson. Yeah. That's who it was. I know it was Hen something. Noted Negro inventor. Who is this? G.A. Thomas invents a carpet cleaner which will revolutionize house cleaning and bring dollars to his coffers. Mrs. Fanny Barrier Williams gives a lucid description of the workings of the machine and its many advantages over all others of its kind. A company organized with a capital stock of $250,000. You already know where we got to go with that. We already know where we got to go with that. We got to adjust for inflation, my baby. 1904. 250,000. $9 million adjusted for inflation. So we got to learn about him. Okay, who was this? There was another thing that I liked about the Colored American and a few other ones is that they always highlighted somebody. So this one is General Edward Morrell. Introduce a bill, blah, 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 to prevent discrimination by common carriers of passengers traveling between the states on account of race and color. So yeah, he was like double all of that racism on the trains. Okay. Shout out to General Morrell. A champion of American rights. Shout out to him. All right. Is this the same? I want to make sure this is the same story. All right. So let's get into this one. We found a Negro inventor. So it says Chicago, Illinois. A Mr. E.A. Thomas, a colored man of this city, has invented a machine for the cleaning, disinfecting, or rugs. What? The cleaning, disinfecting, or rugs, carpets, and other floor coverings. I guess we'll say of rugs, carpets, and other floor coverings. That is pronounced by experts to be one of the most ingenious and practical machines of the kind ever invented. Mr. Thomas, until a year ago, was an employee of the Illinois Central Railroad. He is a man of about 45 years of age, of keen intelligence, and much force of character. About a year ago, he began to study the present awkward, expensive, and unsatisfactory way of cleaning carpets and rugs, hotels and restaurants, as well as in private houses. Owing to lack of yard room or commons, and to stringent city ordinances, the cleaning of carpets in cities is a perplexing problem. The present methods are expensive, archaic, and in every way unsatisfactory. Thomas became convinced that if some device could be worked out to do away with all of these embarrassments, there would be no question about its being seized upon, and brought into extensive use. After more than a year of study and experimenting, attended with many privations, and discouragement, Mr. Thomas has perfected his invention and received his patent from Washington and is now preparing blueprints for the purpose of covering his patent rights in European countries. All right, forward thinking. The following description of the machine as shown in the prospectus gives an idea of the character of this wonderful invention. When the carpet is drawn into the machine, it is placed under two rapidly revolving brushes, and then it comes into contact with two currents of air, which are forced upon the carpet under a very high pressure. All right, let's go to page 3. is it at? Where is it? All right, here we go. One of which strikes the carpet upon the upper and then the other under the surface. These currents of air operate against the line of movement of the carpet through the machine and carry the loose dust forward over the unclean portions of the carpets. It sounds like a vacuum cleaner low key, but it's like you put the rug into it. Then the dust is forced into an ingeniously contrived chamber filled with a fine spray of water that is projected through finely perforated pipes. This spray carries the dust down to the floor of the chamber, and then it is then carried out through the waste pipe in muddy waters. Yeah, it sound like it dead sound like one of like Mr. The Mr. Rotor Rooters and all of that, like the carpet cleaners that we see today. That's pretty cool. The waste pipe is connected with the sewer, and there is no possibility of the dust, any portion of it, ever striking the carpet again. When the water flows clear, showing that the loose dust has been carried off, the machine is reversed and into the jet through which the air has been discharged, steam impregnated. This is what I'm talking about right here. This is what I'm talking about when it comes to impregnation, like, excuse me. When it comes to words, this was written in 1904, right? And impregnation, obviously, they're not talking about literal, like getting pregnant. So this is what I be talking about. Y'all be reading old documents and old texts and be using it literal. Are we going to literally say that the cleaner impregnated the machine? No. But anyway, impregnated with a disinfecting solution is injected in discharge, which effectually disposes of all germs remaining in the carpet, which it is not possible for the currents of air to carry off. The carpet, when taken from the machine at the expiration of 2 minutes, is, to all intents and purposes, chemically clean, absolutely free from dust, dirt, and all noxious germs. The value of the invention to hotels and hospitals is that the machine can be operated without trouble by the elevator engine and calls for no additional power than that already supplied. The waste pipe can, without trouble, be conducted into the sewer, and one man can operate it without assistance and clean 20 times more than by any other method. So he's going crazy. In addition to the carpet cleaning machine, Mr. Thomas has also invented a movable apparatus for the disinfecting of rooms and other enclosed spaces. The question of disinfecting cars is now a matter of considerable agitation, and in some states has been the subject of legislation. Oh, wow. The importance and value of these inventions have been recognized and acknowledged by the railroad companies, hotels, etc. A leading physician of this city who saw one of the machines in operation expressed himself as follows. My opinion of the apparatus is based largely upon the ideas viewed from the medical standpoint. I believe the machine to be a marvel in a field of usefulness heretofore neglected or crudely attempted. Its scope of usefulness can be more fully appreciated by physicians than any other class of individuals, for it is they who deal directly with contagion, and it is they who welcome any contrivance, the object of which to destroy or prevent the same. So this was dope. All right, so what was son's name? Thomas, right? Thomas? What Thomas? Y'all remember his name? Oh, man. Huh. All right. Do I have to go back to the page? All right, we're going to skip ahead a little bit. What says this dispatch? Blah, 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 blah. Yeah, so we heard all of that. Let's see. Let's get down to the business. I saw dollar signs. I saw a business. After Mr. Thomas built the first machine and put it in operation, there was no difficulty in securing capital to take hold of it. He has formed a company to be known as the National Cleaning and Disinfecting Company. The company has been incorporated in New Jersey with a capital stock of $250,000. All right. Now, if y'all remember, chat, y'all know who this is reminding me of. What happened to Frank Brown, chat? Remember Frank Brown from Baltimore? From Washington? Sounds very similar to his story. We learned that Frank Brown had invented this revolutionary form of or engine to generate electricity. Okay? He had got a company that invested in his invention $250,000 and he fell off the face of the earth. So now I have to, just for 1 second, because I remember y'all we was gonna be looking into real estate and all this other stuff, but now y'all gonna get a little taste about how I'll be doing my research. So I gotta go back to page 1 because I believe that's where we said it. We saw it at, right? His name was G.A. Thomas. So first, we're just gonna hit him with Google. We're gonna see what Google tells us about G.A. Thomas and see if they give us anything, and that'll let me know how hard I gotta go with research. Well, you already know, so let's go. Let's make it a little bit more specific. Inventor. Let's see. Is this gonna be somebody else? Look at that, chat. Not a sight of sun. So now we gotta find him. Oh, chat. Have we not? Hold on. Have y'all not been seeing my screen this whole time? Damn, chat. Oh, man, chat. Y'all supposed to been say something. Oh, my fault, chat. I'm tripping. Y'all didn't see none of this. All right. We're going to wheel it back. That is my fault, chat. Won't happen again, chat. Jeez. I can't believe I did this. I did not look at the chat fast enough. I did not. Let's go ahead. Can y'all still see it? Let me know if y'all can see it. Cause I was reading this entire thing to y'all. Let me know if y'all can see it now. Oh, man. Man. See, I be super hype, man. I'm new to this. I be super hype. We good now? All right. So this is... Okay. So just to... This is actually a good little synopsis of what I was reading. Because I ain't going to bore y'all and read this whole thing again. Oh, man. I feel so crazy. I feel so dumb. So... G.A. Thomas, he's the inventor of this carpet cleaner, okay? And it's revolutionized house cleaning and stuff like that. Now, if y'all were in the old stream, y'all remember Frank Brown. Frank Brown got a similar investment of $250,000, adjusted for inflation, $9 million. He got his in 1912. G.A. Thomas got his in 1904, right? So, again, let's just do it like this. G.A. Thomas, right? So nothing comes up. We don't get anything for G.A. Thomas. Inventor, nothing. So this is what I be talking about when it comes to Google not having this. The mainstream is not having this. Okay? They giving me Thomas Edison. This is crazy. All right, so what I do is y'all gonna get a little, like I say, a little glimpse of how I be doing my research, right? So boom, G.A. Thomas. So this is what we do. We go here, and like I said, we're gonna get into the real estate stuff and all of that. Boom. Do G.A. Thomas, and then in the middle one, I'm gonna use carpet for all of the words. All right, let's see what comes up. Now, we know that that's nonsense because we just seen an article that had both those keywords in it. So let's see. Use inventor. Okay, this is ridiculous. What is this? What is this? Lost relative. Nah, that's not who we looking for. No, these are the same thing. This is in 1897. Can't be the same person. All right, let's just see what G.A. Thomas comes up as then. 24. Nope, they still telling me about a reverend. Nope. So he was in 1904, right? So these don't seem like they're going to be accurate. See, this is why. All right, let's do it like this. Let's sort it by date. Let's sort it by date and see what comes up. So all of that 1897 stuff. Then you got 19. It jumps right to 1910. What? How is that possible? Yeah, it's the same thing. Wait, is this the same thing? And his bride spent a short while in the city. Let's back up. Somebody said fourth row. Fourth row what? 1, 2, 3. Down here? Not seeing it. So, nah, son. This got it. No, we can search better than this. We can search better than this. Hold on. If Negro Inventor got us G.A. Thomas, then we gotta be able to. I gotta figure out his name. That's what it is. I gotta figure out his name. Cause I understand why they did it that way. You know what I'm saying? Save space and all this other stuff, but it's like them two initials in the last name is good, but then it's bad at the same time. Say he was looking at it right now. Wait, what? Yeah, I ain't gonna lie. Like, I be seeing the chat, but I think that I'm ahead of y'all. So don't be coming up. He said the fourth row. Are you talking about right here? The next time you see it, let me know, because, like, I'm back here in the search results. Are you talking about this right here? Dr. G.A. Price? Nah, it can't be that. Yeah. I mean, if it's going to be a Negro Inventor, then yeah. I was specifically looking for more on G.A. Thomas, not the same article. Like, yeah, if you're talking about this right here, yeah, it's right here. I was talking about learning more about G.A. Thomas. That's what I'm talking about. And then they got him as E.A. Thomas, too. So let's see. What if it's E.A. Thomas and not G.A. Thomas? Maybe that's it. See what E.A. Thomas comes up as. Yeah, hold on. See what I'm talking about, chat, yo? They just be falling. Like these people be inventing stuff, and then they just fall off the face of the earth. I don't get it. E.A. Thomas, G.A. Thomas, where you at, bro? What's this say? Race relations in America. A competent English official makes pointed statements of contrast conditions. Anyway, E.A. Thomas, a musician of note. No, see, this is why we talking about the first two initials be cool, but then they don't be cool at the same time. And you also got to consider the fact that he had this article in 1904. So I'm trying to look for things around that time. 1950, he might have been dead by then because he was already, 45 years old in 1904? So yeah, look, E.A. Thomas, a colored man of Chicago, has recently invented a machine which bids fair to revolutionize the business of cleaning and disinfecting carpets. This is very tricky. This is very peculiar because this is the second inventor. This is the second black American inventor, who fell off the face of the earth after he invented something that was supposed to revolutionize the industry that he was in. And he's just gone now. Like, where is E.A. Thomas? See, this is, yeah. This is where my tin foil kufi comes in. All right, let's search this company. You're right, Bird. Let's search this company. So the name of his company, because he incorporated that company, right? So let's go back to Negro Inventor, because that's the only place we really gonna get good info for, son. Let's go back here. And what was the name of that company again? It was like the National. It wasn't on this side of the article. It was on the next page, right? Let's go to page 3, where it was at. I would be playing music, chat, but I don't be wanting no copyright stuff at all on my joints. All right, so the company's name was what again? The National Cleaning and Disinfecting Company. Okay. The National Cleaning and Disinfecting Company. That's a lot of words, but we're going to see. National Cleaning Disinfecting. Let's do that. Yeah, I figured that. Super specific. Let's do this. E.A. Thomas. Come on, E.A. Thomas. And carpet. Let's see if carpet. That's caper. Let's see if anything comes up with that. Also, just a little tidbit when it comes down to, okay, hold on now. We got okay, we might have something. When it comes down to searching, right? You do not have to use the words of, be, the, all of that stuff. The computer is not, reading full sentences. I know AI is definitely gonna make that more difficult. You feel me? But you do not have to use that. Like the and all of that is unnecessary. Just use the meat and potatoes of whatever phrase it is. So no, let's 700 of them. I don't know. This is so crazy. All right, so what we gonna do? We gonna do by date, and then we gonna go to wherever the closest date to 1904 is. Whatever is the closest date to that. Because this is, I refuse. Yo, just for a side note, chat, like this is super old. This is in 1838. But I'm gonna tell you, yo, reading these old newspapers be a little difficult sometimes, yo. When they like that far back, like, oh man, this one's is in good condition. A lot of them though, they be in dingy conditions. What's going on in here? What they was talking about? All right, we'll get back to that at another time. But I have to track this man down now, son. I have to figure out where E.A. Thomas or G.A. Thomas. What page would that be on? If they on 1865 at the end of this, let's jump to page 5. See where they at on dates. The Illinois, that would be the next one. I'm telling y'all, man. I am not a genius. I'm just a regular dude with internet connection. Y'all are literally employing tactics that I would use. Okay, so let's try page 10 maybe, because we still in the 19th century. We're going to get right to that. I just want to see what 1904 looked like in this search, because it's a large net. Jeez, we still haven't gotten to the 20th century. Jump to page 20. Come on. Out of 38 pages. But yeah, I would have done it. I do the same thing when I'm looking for something. I would have searched just for Illinois and then his name. The only reason I'm not doing that with this right now is because, wait a minute. Are these? I don't think these are the same filters I mean, it don't matter, but all right, bro. What is going on, bro? Let's just do the 36 page. Let's see. This is ticking me off. I probably jumped the gun too much. Not even that much. 1910. Oh man. A. Thomas was in New York last week buying goods for his store. Is this the same one? Him having a store in 1910. That would make sense. But anybody could be E.A. Thomas in that regard. Let's see. He's a dentist. Jeez. All right. So let's do Illinois. Let's see. That narrows it down quite a bit. Okay, 14 results for Illinois only. That does narrow it down. But none in the 20th century, all 19th century. Strange. Sometimes, the research ain't fancy, y'all. I'll tell you that. Sometimes this is exactly what's just going on. So let's do page 30. I gotta get to the bottom of this shit. I'm sorry. We can move on in just a second. There we go. 1905. I gotta figure out what happened to this man. Yo, I'm telling y'all though. What's this say? Hey, Thomas and Randolph? No. But I'm telling y'all, this is exactly what happened when I was looking up Frank Brown, yo. Carpet may be a little bit too vague. Let's do disinfecting. Maybe that'll narrow it down. All right. Hold on. I think we faring a lot better now. We faring a lot better. This is the black newspaper. Let's see what they got to say. Maybe this one is the one, y'all. This one may be the one. Okay, they talking about him. By the Thomas machine, this carpet can be cleaned in 2 minutes and at a cost of 1.5 cents. Oh, 1/2 of a cent. Okay, that's to think that we read this one already. 40 of these joints. See, they got a whole different dude from West Randolph. See, what? Yeah, Vermont. We dealing with another E.A. Thomas from Vermont that's encroaching on the search here, man. All right, hold on. Let's put it in chronological order, and that way we'd be able to sift through the dates a lot easier. Because I don't think that he would have anything going before 1904. This is the life of a Hotep historian, by the way. This is what I do. This is what I do all day, yo. I love this. Okay, so now it's only 2 pages. So we get out. That's all 19th century stuff. Okay. 25. Okay, boom. Here we go. Start of the 20th century. Let's see what we got. West Randolph, Vermont. See, the location of the newspaper should already give it away. We got to click it. So West Randolph. 1903. This is in St. Louis, the Midwest still. So let's see. Do we have anything about E.A. Thomas here? E.A. Thomas and family have returned from a tour of the West. Is that him? Oh, see? 1904. This is the one we clicked already, so we don't got to go back to that one. More West Randolph, Vermont. Doubt that he's there. Y'all see it live, chat. Y'all see it live. This is all Vermont. This is the same E.A. Thomas from West Randolph, Vermont. Yeah. Was called to Georgia Tuesday by the death of his aunt, Miss O.J. Caldwell. Like, nah. This ain't. Nope. It's not him. Everything else is the Vermont dude. Wyoming, Phoenix. Let's do this one and see what we get. 1917. Anything? No. Nope. I'm trying to tell y'all, chat. I think he another Frank Brown, yo. I think he another Frank Brown. Cause y'all gotta look like when it comes to this type of stuff, if this hits the market, black newspapers are not letting people forget about this. Same way with SD Redmond. SD Redmond did all of that stuff like it was impossible not to know about him as far as the black publications are concerned, at least in Mississippi. He was the wealthiest black man in Mississippi, of course. 1926. I don't know. So a little bit in the 60s by then. Recommended service. Yeah, no. He don't show up no more, chat. Like, we could try patents, but if disinfecting, and that was a part of his, not only the function of the machine, but also the name of his company. So let's do all states. We want to make sure that that's what it was, and it wasn't filtered just for the black ones. Yeah, no, it's just 40 results. That's so crazy, son. This is the second inventor. This is the second inventor that fell off the face of the earth after they invented something that was going to revolutionize their industry, son. This is crazy. Yeah, it's going to be 1,000 because patent is super. I mean, I guess we can narrow it down to patents, but I think they still going to just show results for patent as well. But yeah, yo. Feel free to follow along at the crib and help me research and find this man. But E.A. Thomas, you know what? So now that we here, hold on. We tried E.A. Thomas with disinfecting. Maybe G.A. Thomas with disinfecting may have a different result. Let's see with G.A. Thomas. Remember, he was G.A. and E.A. in the article. So maybe that'll help us. So only 11 here. So let's see. I think that's a C.A. Thomas. Yeah, that's C.A. Thomas, water supply contractor. Like, what? Come on, man. Don't do me that. 1912 could still be alive, but more C.A. Thomas. Okay, we're not going to keep going back to that. What's this one? Did they say North Dakota? Nah, bro. Nah. I don't think he was in North Dakota with it. Wait. Mrs. G.A. Thomas? No. No. Wrong guy. See, we barely got anything in the 20th century for G.A. Thomas. Chat, I really think that's it. I think we're going to have to move on. Because yeah. Sun has not showed up after 1904. Again, another black inventor that just doesn't exist anymore, yo. Legend just gone. It just fell off. And it is always after they get a $250,000 investment. Excuse me. Always after they get invested $9 million adjusted for inflation that they just fall off the face of the earth, yo. I'm starting to believe, yo. Now this is person number 2. And like, I ain't gonna lie, who said inventor in the chat? Because they the reason why we went down this rabbit hole. Bert, this is your fault. This is your fault, bro. Because he is the second inventor, and I don't want to bore y'all by keep just searching for Negro inventors. But yo, I want to know what's going on. I want to know what's going on and why this is happening with the Negro inventors. I mean, we got only 52 results. Let's see what else they have to say. Genius of the Negro. What's this? Colored Statesman is another good. It's a classic. Creature forces have been developed in many lines. Some important utilities have the source in the concept of Negro brain. Some are mentioned. Genius of the Negro. The most noted. Oh yeah. Okay. 1963. That is definitely not what we're looking at. Negro killed? No. All right. Let's see. Somebody said, what was they saying? Real estate, huh? Let's see what they say about real estate. 16,000, of course. Let's see if the word mogul is used. Let's see if the word mogul is used. Oh yeah, Marxist Archive. I'm familiar with that site. I got a lot of my information from Marxist Archive. Not gonna hold you. If you gonna learn the enemy, if you gonna learn an ideology that you oppose, you need to learn why you are against it. I tell people that all of the time. I don't be saying the stuff that I'm saying, there's no way I'm against any of the things that I'm against without studying it first. Like I study Black American communism. It's a dead end, and that's what I came away with, and that's why I don't support it. So definitely, Marxist Archive is a treasure trove of good information if you know how to be objective about things. What a mogul can do, this is boring. This is boring. Let's see. Wealthy Negro. What did I get on this one? Oh yeah, I was all up on here. Yeah, matter of fact, this is the search that led me to SD Redmond. That's a fact. Yep. Yeah, I think I went through all of this, huh? Alright, so we ain't gonna do wealthy Negro, because I think we went over all of this already. Southern white men talk about new Negro. Don't care. What do you say? What was this? Dream of wealthy Negro Civil War veteran unfulfilled. Oh yeah. We went through all of this. So, no, we didn't. This was just me. So, check this out. Colonel, this is so crazy. Colonel John McKee, okay, like they said, was a wealthy Negro Civil War veteran, has been dead since 1902, right? But his dream of establishing Little Annapolis for white and Negro boys is still alive. It cropped up again the other day in Philadelphia Orphans Court with the filing of a new accounting in Colonel McKee's mistake. Colonel McKee's estate. It has grown to $1.3 million. Adjusted for inflation, that would be in 1959. 1959. How much was it? 1.3 million? 1.32. Okay. $14.5 million adjusted for inflation. All right. Boom. At present cost, that sum admittedly would not go far for the endowment of an institution such as Colonel McKee had envisioned. But anyway, so that's Colonel McKee, okay? Civil War veteran and whatnot. Yo, his grandson, John Henry McKee, or John McKee Henry, no, John McKee Minton. What's going on? John McKee. What was son's name? I know I'm not tripping. Henry McKee. That's what it was. Henry McKee Minton. Excuse me. Yeah. This guy. His grandson. This guy is his grandson, and he is the creator of none other than Sigma Pi Phi, also known as the Boule. You see that? This person created the Sigma Pi Phi, and then his granddaddy this guy right here was his wealthy grandfather. Now, apparently he was like, they said he was a bright mulatto boy. And he was a short guy. He was 5 feet and 4.5 inches tall. 4.5. Short little guy, but he made mad bread. Also, what I learned about them, that he was a very shrewd landlord. He wasn't going for it. He had mad cribs. He had, I think, 300,000 acres. He owned hundreds of homes. And he was, I'm not going to call him a slumlord, but he wasn't caring why you couldn't pay your rent on the first of the month. I could tell you that. He did not care. Did not care. But yeah. So, yeah, look at that. That little piece of history. May have not known. Come on, y'all. Give me something else. Wealthy Negro. What else, man? I'm trying to think. We did inventor. Just found them. What's going on? Hotep, fam. Hotep Lamar. We looked up Hotep too. We remember the last time we left off, we was reading that mutual aid. Okay. That's a good one. Mutual aid. See what comes up. All right, we got a lot. We got 515 entries. I actually want to... Well, you're going to do relevant first, and then we're going to go back. Scientists, capitalism, lynching. There we... Lynching mob? You want to learn about the lynch mobs tonight, man? Let's see what we got here. Mr. Percy Stone, the general manager of the American Mutual Aid Association, called at our office this week and informed us that his company had completed arrangements to supply policyholders in Indianapolis with medical and surgical attention absolutely free of charge hereafter. Any member of the American Mutual Aid Association who meets with an accident or is taken sick may call for the company's physician, who will attend all members of free of charge. The policies of the American Mutual Aid Association pay weekly benefits for both sickness and accidental injuries. Wow. Man, free medical. Yo, son, we have free healthcare. So we have free healthcare in the community. Am I reading this correctly? This is what it sounded like to me. The Freeman. This is a black newspaper. Let's see if Percy Stone comes up. Who's Percy Stone? What? Who is this? This can't be the same Percy Stone. Nah. This can't be the same one. English? Well, let me just double check. Type in mutual aid. Yeah, no. This ain't the same guy. Wrong guy. Let's do Percy Stone Mutual Aid. Gills and this was in 2020, a PDF. Let's see what they got for me. So let's look it up. Percy. He comes up one time, and it's not even the Percy that we're looking at. Oh, my goodness. Why would they? What? See, this is why Google is trash, yo. Yeah, so no, not the same Percy Stone, obviously. So Percy Stone had a mutual aid association. Well, hold on. American Mutual Aid Association. We can look that up. This don't look like the same thing at all. Yo, look at how our history is just like it's nope, not the same, still not the same group. Still not the same group. This is another piece of our history. This is why we talking about, chat. I ain't playing this. Who put this in the chat? X put this in the chat. I ain't even think about looking at mutual aid, but look, this is what we got. Free medical attention. So you know I got to bookmark this. Definitely, yeah. Hold on. Oh no, I meant to do it like this. Open up a new tab. There we go. So I can keep that. That's fire. Free medical attention for all members. That is fire. Shout out to Mr. X for this one. Let's keep going. Let's see what else we got for mutual aid. We're getting some good stuff here. The People's Mutual Aid Association has now stretched its wings over the state and has branch offices in every town in every town of size in Arkansas. So all throughout the state. Okay, so they created a bank. Is that what it is? American citizens' efforts striving to improve a community in which they live. The Capital City Savings Bank officer conducted and owned by a people who 40 years ago were brief synopsis of the prime movers of the institution. You see what I'm talking about? This is the reason why I do filter for black newspapers, because they gonna get me right every time. So now we got another thing. When I talk about the mutual aid societies, they were precursors to two financial institutions in particular: insurance companies and banks. They were like the masters of pooling resources together. So we're gonna read all the way down here just real quick. Shout out to Mr. X for shouting. Who is this? Judge M.W. Gibbs, president of Capital City Savings Bank. So he's the president of the bank. Okay, let's go. Shout out to Mr. X on this one. We rocking until I don't feel like it tonight. I'm feeling good right now. The Capital City's bank, the Capital City Savings Bank is one of the leading banking institutions of the South. Last week, your representative had an occasion to send to your office a heavy draft, and it was our pleasure to send it through the Capital City Savings Bank, of which Judge M.W. Gibbs is president and Mr. C.B. King cashier. The press have been given so much attention to the race question that it is interesting to consider that that class of Negroes who, in their own manner and way, are aiding and uplifting their people to the valuable citizenship of the community. The most fitting example of the efforts of the law-abiding, self-respecting, and intelligent element of the Southern Negro is the Capital City Savings Bank. The bank is owned and controlled by Negroes. January 1st 03. I love that too about the centuries, where it's like every century they got their own, like 95, 96. You know what I'm saying? 03. So January 1st, 1903, I would have to assume. It could be 1803, but let's not get too crazy. The bank opened its doors for business in a small room. It had prejudice to fight, but the constant business intelligence of those interested has gained the confidence of the people and is now the Gibraltar of the state. See? Do y'all want? This is a perfect example of what I'm talking about. This was in what year? What year was this? 1905. Okay, so it shows you, hey, it had prejudice to fight, but by the constant business intelligence of those interested, it had gained the confidence of the people and is now the Gibraltar of the state. You see how the narrative is? Now, the dweebs in contemporary times, our day, would be like, oh, they will focus on the prejudice. They would only focus on the prejudice. And that's my issue. Well, let's continue. Little attention was given the venture, said the cashier, C.B. King. The lack of training and experience of the Negro in the banking business caused some people to look upon the bank as an institution of short life. The bank had its troubles, and as predicted, there was no stampede in this direction. The promoters of the institution realized that it would not get its support from the white people, and they knew that the general mistrust of each other prevalent among Negroes will close the door of Negro patronage for a long time. All these points, said the cashier, were considered. Leading businessmen of the city were allowed to take out stock, and great care was taken in selecting men as the board of directors. Young Negro businessmen of ability and business integrity, recommended by the best colleges in the country, were placed in charge, and the bank entered the field to map out its destiny. For a year it struggled, and few people knew that a Negro bank was in the city. Some said it would soon close, and at that time, the business and the energetic stockholders met and started out for another year's work, constantly gaining the confidence of the people and raising its prestige with other banks. It surprised the public by organizing a People's Mutual Aid Society and filed the bond with the Secretary of State. I think it was filed with the Secretary of State of $20,000. Then the people began to open their eyes and inquire. And they soon discovered that the bank was making rapid strides in the business world and worthy of praise and confidence. Business began to grow, and the quarters became contracted to such an extent that the management had to seek out new quarters. Meaning, so they went from one building in a room. It started in a small room. You dig what I'm saying? And then now we had to upgrade because people, actually jacking it. Boom. A brick building at 5th and Center Streets was leased, and now, said the cashier, you can see for yourself. We come on. Jeez. We were escorted all through the bank, saw its massive fireproof vault, hall's burglar safe, new fixtures, and all things necessary to conduct modern banking business. The building is located in the most desirable business section. The bank has a savings department and pays 4% interest. Nice. 4% interest in 1905. This feature has brought much business, and the laboring class of people are giving their attention to the savings department. The bank has been a great stimulus to the Negro to save money, have a bank account, and buy property. Also great help to Negro business enterprises. The bank has demonstrated the point that there is no prejudice between a business Negro and a business white man. The People's Mutual Aid, that's what I was talking about. The capital city's savings bank is an institution that the Negro should feel proud of, as it is now taking its stand as a permanent business institution. I'll read that again, just for to drive my point home. The capital city savings bank is an institution that the Negro should feel proud of, as it now has taken its stand as a permanent business institution. See what I'm saying, man? There's so much pride in the stuff that I be reading, yo. There is so much that, wait, Negrophobian? I'm sorry. What is this? What is Negrophobian? Oh, we got to bring that back. We got to bring Negrophobian back. I've never heard this, chat. Negrophobian. Oh, man. Oh, man, that's crazy. What are they depicting? Shooting the... Oh, wow. What's the caption on this? Any caption? So they shooting from the discrimination cannon. And you got a grafter, which I think is just a grifter, just in early 20th century speak. And then you have a Negrophobian, which I would have to assume just means like an anti-black racist person. And then they're handing him bullets. One says politics. Another one, cannonballs, I guess. Another one says political graft, Jim Crow, burlesque, anti-Negro law, and trade unions. Huh. Okay. That man Asian? That an Asian man? All right, let's not get too crazy. All right, so that's that. Let's do another mutual aid. Shout out to Mr. X for this one. This was fire. Let's see what else we got. Protecting lives of Americans in Texas. Let's see. Colorado Farmers Mutual Aid Association. Let's see what this is. The Colorado Farmers Mutual Aid Association is an organization created for the purpose of aiding the farmer and homesteader in Colorado. It locates and gives financial assistance to its members and persons who go upon the land to engage in farming. It is a fact that all classes and nationalities have some organization to which they can appeal in times of commercial distress. The association is organized for the purpose of establishing a headquarters and a money center for the colored farmers of Colorado. That's what I was waiting for. When they gonna shout out the niggas? All right. This association has a membership which pays 50 cents initiation fee and $1 per month dues thereafter for 12 months. The $1 per month paid by each member is creating a general fund to be invested in the development of farming industry in the state of Colorado. Our purpose is to build a permanent future and that upon land and put our dependence in labor largely in the soil for our future resources. Whether or not you are interested in farming, you can be a member and a factor of this movement. In this age, united effort makes for wealth and the great success. Your interest in this matter, we assure you, is such that you will be benefited and you will be benefit others by becoming a member of this association. Meetings at office every Tuesday at 8 p.m. You are invited to attend. Man, yo, shout out to Mr. X for this, yo. Because, I already knew about mutual aid societies. I did a whole thing on them. Oh, episode 5 is being made, son. Oh my God. I know it's only a few of y'all in the chat that know what I'm talking about, but Hotep History episode 5 is on the way. Shout out to the good sister Kia. Me and her already had a little back and forth through the DMs about my vision and what she can do and how we gonna put it together. Episode 5 is coming. I cannot wait, son. It's been months, G. Y'all was supposed to get episode 5 in like March, son. I'm super hyped. But back to this. Colorado Farmers Mutual Aid Society. So this was a different type of mutual aid society. But again, just precursors to insurance companies and banks. Banks would have given you a loan. So this one You pay $1.50 your first month, right? To your initiation fee, and then $1 per month. Now, what year is this? So we can know what 1913. So just so we have a clear understanding what $1 was worth in 1913, according to the CPI inflation calculator. So roughly $32 a month in today's money. And half of that, of course, would have been what? 16, right? $16 for the initiation fee, and $32 a month every month after that. And then what you got from that is that it's a general fund to be invested in the development of farming industry in the state of Colorado. Like this again, and you see what I be talking about. This is in the early 20th century, and look what they talking about. Our purpose is to build a permanent future. Talking about you. Anybody who living in Colorado right now, he's talking about you. And that upon the land and put our dependence in labor largely in the soil for our future resources. And he was saying, like, yo, listen, this is a mutual aid society. So whether or not you want to be a farmer, you dig, you put your money into a farm that's going to yield bread, you get a kickback. You get money. So mutual aid, each one teach one, everybody's helping. Yeah. Shout out to Mr. X, man. We're gonna do a couple more. Then I think Memphis have wrote down a few things too. Let's see. Textile unions ratify locals mutual aid pact. The Textile Workers Union of America and the United Textile Workers have ratified a mutual aid pact negotiated blah 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 blah. This don't sound like our business. This sounds like white business. Yeah, what is this? The Jackson Advocate. It's in New York. I'm pretty sure there was some black workers involved, but this is not black owned, and we're not interested. Not interested. I need black owned mutual aid societies, please and thank you. What's the chat saying? I've been reading the industrial history of the Negro. Gems in that book. Going to be reading Working with the Hands next. Absolutely, Lamar. Those books are gems. Those books are gems. Very objective too. Shout out to Giles B. Jackson and Webster C. Davis. Yeah, I think it's Webster C. Davis. Great book. And then Working with the Hands. That is the next book in the book club. Booker T. Washington, Working with the Hands, is the next book in the book club. All right. Just found a black-owned and operated hospital in the 1930s in Mississippi. Yo, drop the link, bro. Drop the link in the chat. You in the archives? You in the archives while I'm in the archives? That's what's up. Put it in the chat, bro. No telling what you'll find in the archives, man. We talking about millions of pages here. Some of the late claims paid color members of the American Mutual Aid. Okay. So we learned about the American Mutual Aid Society. The American Mutual Aid Association already, based in Indianapolis. What else we got here? Come on now. God's Detroit Tribune also supports President Eisenhower's aid mutual aid plea tied to warning by Neil Stanford, staff correspondent of the Christian Science Monitor. This is not us. It's probably us, but it's not what I'm looking for. It's not what I'm looking for. I want more of these mutual aids. Pause. Here we go. Union Mutual Aid Society. The path to success echoes from the meetings of the National Negro Business League. Whoop, whoop, whoop. Should already know. Who is this? Reverend Ralph Amos, President and General Manager of the M&F I and A School, Mount Rose Yo, son, they was saving as much space as they could, son. They was like, well, y'all know who the M and F, I and A is. Like, what? Like, what is that? What's the M and F, I and A? School. Oh, man. Come on, son. Give me a break. All right. So, Union Mutual Aid Association, Mobile, Alabama. What do they have to say about it? One of the best addresses delivered at this session was by Mr. C.F. Johnson, General Manager of the Union Mutual Aid Association with headquarters at Mobile, Alabama. In exchange, speaking of, Mr. Johnson says, anxious to the point the young men and women of our race to a successful business map, we reproduced the face of Honorable C. First Johnson, a pioneer insurance man, a leader in promoting 24-hour payment insurance, a man of strong convictions, a conservative and safe business manager, a Christian gentleman, a man of humble parentage, yet making his way by his own untiring efforts from obscurity to the height he has attained. He is a fit character to hold up before the world, since he is a tangible demonstration of what a colored boy of no rare advantage can be if he is determined to succeed. I cannot stress this enough. Whenever somebody did great, they could not wait to use these people as examples of what the youth them could do, for what the children could do. I'm trying to tell you, like, hey, look. He don't come from no type of privileges or nothing. He come from humble beginnings. His parents was poor. And look now. He's in the newspaper. Got a suit on, 3-piece. He's the president and general manager, which I had to assume he's the founder of this Mutual Aid Association. Come on now. Showing a colored boy of no rare advantage can be if he is determined to succeed. 1903. See, when a white person says it in 2025, they call it bootstrapping and all this other stuff. When a black man says it in 1903, I don't want to hear no excuses. 1903, you want to tell me you had it harder? You have it harder than a black man who was born in the late 19th century, likely former slave, or maybe not, maybe born free. Well, his parents was maybe even born free, but still. Nah, I don't want to hear it. This is 1903. He's balling out of control and helping others while he's balling out of control. Speaking in his characteristic modest way, he said in an answer to a question, "If I have attained anything like success, I owe it to two chief causes. First, the training I received by my dear and sainted mother, who could not read her name, and the encouragement and strength I have gotten by reading my Bible daily." Amen. Building upon such a foundation, he cannot fall. Mr. Johnson is giving employment to nearly 400 young men and women of the race, paying back thousands of dollars every year to those who insure in his company, and bringing respect and recognition to the race as only men of his cloth can do. What? Industrial Insurance, C.F. Johnson, one of the most successful insurancemen, spoke. He said in part, "I am aware that the man of the 20th century is he who can do something for the advancement of people with whom he labors. And the great difference between men, between the feeble and the powerful, the great and insignificant, is energy, invisible determination." What's this say? "A purpose once fixed, and then death or victory." Oh, he talking. See, this is what I talk about. This is what I be talking about. People be talking about practice what you preach. Like, nah, preach what you practice. You hear me? Preach what you actually do. Practice first, then preach. You dig? That's how it's supposed to do. That's how it's supposed to go. Practice, then come preach. Oh, he was talking a lot. Like, he's a Amos. He was Hotep with that name. Explain yourself, Lamar. And Memphis says we gave us so much autonomy and potential power by pushing the integration ideology. I'm telling you, man. Do you think these people was worried about integration, man? Like, I'm pretty sure. Look. Bring it up to Tuskegee, off rip. But I must hasten to the subject. It was my purpose to discuss industrial insurance's advantages as a business field. But the president requests that I simply make a statement as to my business and the success which has attended it. While the committee assigns me to discuss the insurance business, Mr. President, ladies and gentlemen, I begin the consideration of this subject with the maxim of familiar as the name Tuskegee. Man. So anyway, yeah, these people was not worried about integration. They were worried about making sure that Black America was good and taken care of. Period. If white people wanted to participate, square business, you are able to. But we're not worried about that. Let's see. Pilgrim Mutual Aid incorporates under insurance laws. Let's see. According to a statement issued by A.G. Wright, President, and W.T. Hendricks, Secretary Manager of the Pilgrim Mutual Aid Society, the company has qualified under the insurance laws of the state of Michigan to operate a burial society or funeral benefit society. Mr. Wright pointed out that that this will place the Pilgrim Mutual Aid Society under the same supervision as any other insurance company, and that they have been required to and have deposited with the state necessary security and collateral for operating under this new law. I'm not hearing anything about Negroes. The new law was enacted at the last session of the Michigan legislature and went into effect on October 29th, 1937. Prior to the passage, blah, 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 blah. Not a single word of Negro. I don't know if this is black or white. Pilgrim. Pilgrim Mutual Aid. I don't know. I think we made our point with mutual aid, chat. Mutual aid societies. I gotta stop saying mutual aids. That sounds so crazy. Afro-American Sons and Daughters Hospital. Ooh. Let's find that. What's the publication, X? And then we're going to go into the other keywords. We're going to rock to about like, it's already close to midnight. Probably like 12 something. So we got this was in Mississippi. You said in the 30s. So this is the church. I wouldn't be surprised if this was attached to the church. Okay. Let me see if I put this in here. Hospital. We getting closer. Afro-American Courier. This is it. I think this is it. Is this it? Let me know. I think I found it. Mm-hmm. 1,000 delegates of the Afro-American Sons and Daughters gathered at the Farris Street. Yo, Farris Street. Yo, Black Wall Street get mad love and shout out to Black Wall Street, but Farris Street, yo, that's a gem that nobody talks about. Look at this. Pictured above is this huge Afro-American delegation at the 14th annual session of the Afro-American Sons and Daughters at Jackson. January 1st, 1936. Man. See, I appreciate when y'all be giving me stuff to look up, bro. This secret orders, fraternal, and benevolent societies play great role in early Mississippi Negro life and history. That is a fact. Oh yeah, Mr. X, you might have started my rabbit hole tonight. I gotta look for AE or EA or GA Thomas. How many Friday the 13th. It's crazy. You said January 1st, 1936. Yeah, we could do it. We could do it this way. Do it by date. January 1st, 1936. Let's get to it. So the earliest mention of it, let's see if this is the same company. The earliest mention of it might be in 18 something. The Afro-American sons and daughters must be trained for. Oh no, this is just literally talking about Afro-American sons and daughters. I think might be the first time that they talk about it. We're gonna go to January 1st, 1936 in a second, bro. I just gotta make sure that I'm. The law provides that we will build our hospital in 1928. It will take all of the available service collected as a hospital tax, and then we will need more money. All lodges are hereby notified that there will be no operations paid for by the Afro-American sons and daughters from November 15th to June 15th of 1928. You will govern yourself accordingly. Yo, so in 1928, they was like, yo, listen, all members of the mutual, aid society and all of that, listen, all of your bread, we're nobody asked for no money. We're not handing out no checks at all. Okay? We need to use this bread to build the hospital. After the hospital is built, then we'll start dispersing funds again. But right now, we need all of the funds to build the hospital. Not mad at it. Not mad at it. This is so fire. We getting good stuff here, man. Getting good stuff. The most wonderful and honorable grand lecturer of the Afro-American sons and daughters, being a little pressed for time at the hour that he was present with us, gave us a nice talk. I cannot mention the joy he brought to our hearts while trying to give sight to the blind and an uplifted understanding to the ignorant. That's what's up, man. So it seems like when it comes to the Afro-American Courier, they had a lot of love for the Afro-American sons and daughters. I would not be surprised if they were intertwined in some way. Maybe that the society actually created it. So, yeah, at the Grand Lodge in Lexington last August, the custodian recommended the erection of a hospital sometime during 1928. The recommendation was unanimously agreed to by the Grand Lodge. As all the older members of the order know, this hospital idea for the order and race was one of the prime objectives of the order from its birth. But we all know that to build a hospital of any consequence, you must have money. We all know that we started to build up this hospital fund by quarterly tax of 50 cents per member. It is indeed wonderful to think that just a few months ago, we didn't have a single 50-cent piece with which to begin this very big task. Come on, back up a little bit. I venture the assertion that not even the founder dreamed of being ready to build the first hospital in so short a time. Look at that. Look at that group economics, bro. This is just part of the membership of the lodge. Like, come on, man. It happily and pleasantly far surpassed all of our fondest hopes. Therefore, when our custodian broke the news that all would be ready in 1928 for our first hospital, it sent a thrill of joy to the hearts of every member of the order, as well as every race-loving Negro in the state. Oh, man. All right, let's go to January 1st, 1936. Because we'll be here for... Oh, man. All right. They're getting me hype with all of these headlines, man. So let's try page 3 for 1936. It ends at 1930 on page 1. Mm-hmm. Oh, they going crazy all throughout the years. But we gotta stay focused. Whoa, hold on now. That look like a holiday. Afro Day. What's that? Hold on now. Celebrate pre-Grand Lodge Afro Day with a statewide male quartet contest, vocal solo contest, addresses, automobile parade, banquet, and membership drive. Huh. Afro Day. Y'all ever heard of Afro Day? I want to know what that is. Son, this is why I be trying to tell y'all, son. Being in the archives like this, yo, I don't. Can y'all see now how I can spend all day in the archives now? Because now I want to know what Afro Day is about. So the next page should have 1936 on it. January 1st, 1936. And I just want to look at it just based upon what Mr. X said. Let's see. Here we go. January 1st, 1936. Here we go. So boom, by 1936, they dedicated a $5,000. Let's go to the numbers. 5 G's, right? In 1936, right? January 1st, 1936. $5,000 was worth over $100,000. Got it. TJ Huddleston, founder and custodian. Shout out to this, man. I hate when that happens. Yeah, this is fire. This is super fire, man. All right, so that's mutual aid. Somebody in the chat we had said scientist, capitalism, lynching, mob. So we gonna do. What we gonna do? I wanna, let's see what capitalism talk about. See if they got some encouraging or disparaging things to say about capitalism. Oh, capitalism hospital. No. Even though that's still, jeez. Capitalism may be a little bit too broad, brother. What we looking at? 24,000? Oh, man. That is a lot. What year is this? 1960? Is that Nixon? Oh, man. Okay, let's do front page only. Nothing jumps out. We gonna move on to another term. Capitalism may be just a little bit too broad. Look at this. W.E.B. Du Bois from Moscow urges Africans to adopt socialism. Look at this. On my birthday, no less. Disrespecting my birthday. Come on, son. I knew it. I knew it was going to be disparaging and encouraging things here. So, what year was this? William, you was in Moscow in 1959, son. What are you talking about, bro? W.E.B. Du Bois, who fathered the Pan-African Congress, which was reflected earlier this month, an All-African People Congress held in Accra, Ghana, was invited to address the conference, but was counseled against making the trip in what is now Africa's hottest season by doctors in Moscow, where he has been since last spring when the U.S. reissued his passport for the first time in over 10 years. Du Bois, who will be 91 in February, is in a Moscow rest home. Oh my goodness. Man, no thank you, bro. No thank you. No. Shout out to you. You being in Russia, bro. Like, I am good, son. Nobody's. No. Living. You living in Moscow. You bugged out. No thank you. Nobody wants to do that. Uh-oh. Negro Louisianians denied voting rights. Whoa. Methods of denied vote described to commission. Oh, that's bad. What year was this? 1960. All bad. All right, let's see what the earliest in these black newspapers were they talking about capitalism. What year was this? 1776? They was talking about capitalism? Oh, no. Capital Town. I'm about to be like, what? Let's see what they got to say. This is a black newspaper, the Freeman's Journal. It's just capital. They just using the word capital. They not using the word capitalism here. Huh. Damn, son. It's a tough joint. Son. Over 1,200 pages. Bro. Alright, let's see. Let's do with Negro in there. Let's throw Negro in there to try to. Here we go. We only got it down to 15,000. Jeez Louise. Minneapolis spokesman. Another one of my faves. Negroes. Alright. Capitalism is just too broad. It's too broad. I don't have time. We can keep Negro there. Scientist. Oh, whoa. Carver Day. The Black Athlete. Who wrote this? The Negro prize fighter, the yellow streak of force chart. Oh, this is about Jack Johnson. Okay, where's the word scientist here? Just here? Oh, we talking about Matthew Henson again. Okay, I gotta know what this is. What is this? Is the Negro a vanishing American? Whoa, what ominous thing is this? Although his race is growing steadily population-wise and lynchings are becoming as rare as hen's teeth, the American Negro is going the way of the U.S. Indian. He is vanishing from the American scene. The phenomenon is due neither to a back to Africa migration nor trickery from white Dixie witch doctors. It is a result of the processes of integration which at least are channeling the Negro into the mainstream of American life. As a resident of these shores since 1619, further back than that, the Negro is just beginning to taste the fruits of the American tree of life, although they are still rationed and often bitter. Even so, he is reaping a harvest which never ripened for the Indian who originally held title to all orchards on this continent. When is this written? 61. Okay. For years, the situation of the Negro and the Indian had striking parallels. As America's oldest minorities, both suffered more than any other group of U.S. citizens. Together, they witnessed the white man as his worst and were denied the right to the pursuit of happiness on equal terms with whites. The cavalier treatment of Negroes and Indians by the white man has been such as to stamp the majority race with with dishonor. The Negro has been suppressed through discrimination, segregation, and intimidation. The Indian subdued through broken treaties, land robbing, commercial swindles, and massacres. As a result, there grew up in this country a system that denied the Negro and Indian the rights and prerogatives which the Declaration of Independence declared the privileges of all men. Okay. One of the great facts of U.S. history and a major asset in the fight for equality is that the Negro, no matter how ill used, has remained deeply loyal to the U.S. Didn't I just talk about this earlier? I just talked about this earlier. Big patriots, been big loyal to the soil, literally. This was not the case with the Indian, who, feeling strongly that he had been deprived of his own land, often warred against the government. Some Indian tribes were wiped out, others banished to reservations. As different races came together and lived in the same territory, interbreeding occurred in spite of barriers erected by social prejudice. So it was that many Indian tribes shrunk, lost their identity, and merged after infusion of white and Negro blood. Miscegenation also started the Negro on the road to becoming a vanishing American. In the slave regime of the Old South, there was more or less open appropriation of Negro women to serve the physical cravings of their white masters. Although intermarriage was prohibited by law, the slave owners did not overlook the opportunity of turning Negroes into mulattoes. The extent to which the practice was carried on may be seen in the results of a study made by Dr. Melville Herskovitz of Northwestern University. The study deals with the racial crossing in the United States. His survey of 3,000 Negro genealogies concluded that some 78% of the Negro population show traces of mixed European or Indian ancestry. The ratio is even higher now, for the study was made 25 years ago. One need only look at a group of Negroes selected indiscriminately to get a first-hand knowledge of the vast difference in physical makeup. Their shades of color vary from black to white, with tints of yellow, brown, and red in between. Some hair is straight, some wavy, some woolly. Many noses are thin and pointed, or others wide and flat. Some lips noticeably narrow, others thick and droopy. Each year, according to sociological reports, 30,000 light-skinned Negro Americans vanish into the white world. What? That's crazy. By passing as whites, they no longer have to eat bread in the back room, but may enjoy cake in a cafeteria, otherwise off limits to their race. It is a fact that many of the people called Negroes are Anglo-Saxon, French, German, and Italian, more so than many European natives. Likewise, many persons classed as Negroes are more Asiatic appearing than purebred Chinese, Japanese, Filipinos, and Indians. These differences in Negro types have led a number of anthropologists to suspect that the U.S. population figures would drop below the 10 million mark if only Negro-looking Negroes were counted by census takers. Negroes are vanishing in other ways. For example, the Negro artists, sportsmen, and leaders are now thought of as craftsmen first and Negroes second. Now, many years ago, Marian Anderson was hailed as the great Negro contralto. Today, she is known to the world as the great American contralto. Dr. Ralph Bunche has finally achieved the status of an American diplomat after years of identification as the colored political scientist. There are those who will argue that the Negro, as America's largest minority, is gaining strength year by year as he wrests from the white fellow a desk in a school, a seat in a restaurant, a job in an office. Little do they recognize that as political, economic, and educational discriminations vanish, the Negro loses some of his identity. With integration, he becomes a player on the team instead of a curious spectator looking on from the sidelines. These extremely American forces operating both in North and South are causing a major revolution in the lives of both whites and their former slaves. This upheaval is the most hopeful change in the U.S. since Lincoln's Emancipation Proclamation unshackled the Negro nearly a century ago. The most helpful the most hopeful fact about Negro progress is that it could not have been possible without a tremendous moral progress on the part of white Americans. Even many Southerners seem to know that segregation is no longer defensible and that the tide of world events is against it. The result, the Negro in the U.S. is happily vanishing into the mainstream of American life. And at the same time, America is moving closer to a true democratic ideal. Who wrote this? 1961. Going towards the age of no return, when you ask me, as far as my studies. George Daniels, George Daniels. I got it. I get his point. Integration is like, at that point, you're just an American. You're not a black American. You're just American. And I know that there are some people who like that. Don't call me black. Don't call me white or whatever. Just call me an American. I get that. I'm proud to be black. I don't know what to tell you. Certain things I agree with that article. Certain things that I don't. So, yeah, that was an interesting read. A very interesting read. What was we looking up again? I totally forgot, yo. I'm about to get up out of here, man. I'm just up here just doing my own thing. Yo, scientists, that's what it was. Negro scientists. Oh, man. Michelle says whites don't know Negroes. All right. Oh, Mitchell, excuse me, not Michelle. All right, y'all. I think that's going to be it for tonight. I got to do some studying. I got to do some researching. Yeah, I'm about to get up out of here. We're going to reconvene tomorrow. Hopefully the stream was smooth for everybody this evening. Sammy, what's going on, Brody? I didn't know if you was coming through tonight. Let's see what my boy Sammy said. Hotep to the room. Shout out to you, dudes. Been busy, so wasn't as active today. Love the comic book segment and the story about your debate with the tenure professor. Keep pushing. Hotep and Bill. Absolutely. Hotep and Bill, you know we got to do our shout outs. First of all, got to shout out Mr. X tonight. Mr. X, that mutual aid search was clutch, bro. That was clutch. Thank you for that. We learned a lot from that search. Thank you, Sammy, for always falling through. Lamar, this may be your first time here, so salute to you for coming. Hotep, you came in with big Hotep energy. I appreciate that. Memphis, of course. Who else was here? Bert, of course. Glasgow. I knew Glasgow was coming through. Where happened to Scruggs? You know what? I think Scruggs was waiting on a tweet, and I didn't tweet the link tonight. So that was my fault, Scruggs. That's my fault. Lauren came through tonight. I appreciate her for coming through. Vincent, did I get my? Hold on, did Vincent hit me with my I didn't get my target emojis. I didn't get my bullseye emojis. He did hit me with a couple other ones though. He hit me with the where he at? Oh damn. Chat was lively tonight. Jeez. He hit me with the 200 emojis. Okay. No, I take that back. Vincent hit me with 3 bullseye emojis, so we still good. We locked in. Hotep Oz, Dizza, Watcher, thank you for coming through. You guys have always been super consistent in you rocking with me, man. I really can't thank you guys enough. Thank you so much. This has been another episode of Hotep History, man. I appreciate it. There we go. He doubled back with the bullseyes, you heard? And I only want them if I earned them, Vinny. You already know. Don't give it to don't send them if I ain't earn them, you dig? But I just want to thank everybody for coming through tonight. Again, you know, this was another episode of Hotep History Live, episode 13, I believe. So keep tuning in. We will be back tomorrow. What else? Oh, yes. Get you a copy of Working with the Hands by Booker T. Washington. That is going to be book number 2 in the Hotep History Book Club. Okay? Make sure that you are letting all of your friends and family know on your timeline that you are watching Hotep History Live whenever you are watching Hotep History Live. Whether you're watching it tonight, whether you're going to watch the playback to where you can scrub and skip spots and all the other stuff. I'm totally cool with it. Um, let's what else? What else? Any other announcements? I told y'all episode 5. Episode 5 is on the way. Is underway now. Give me a little bit more time. But episode 5 is coming out, and then after that, episode 6, 7, 8, and all of that stuff will be coming out a lot more smoother. Just because I ain't gonna lie, yo, my brain was like, it's hard to move on. Like, I wrote the script for episode 6 already. It's about the lodges and the fraternal orders and stuff like that, but I just couldn't drop it. I could not skip episode 5. So I'm glad I found Kia. Super shout out to Kia. Thank you so much for that. And so, yeah, with that being said, always remember that when it comes down to this life that we are living, you cannot have the future without the present, and you can't have the present without the past. And we don't study the past. We don't study history to live in the past, but to order our steps in the current or in the present so we can positively affect our future. And with that being said, as always,